seriously debating just this last second to have us all pretend to start talking for the show and not turn the mics on and see if Lewis would freak out that he's not hearing the studio, like something is wrong. Because Lewis can attest to this. It's been a rather difficult week.
And so shit rolls downhill.
Right.
And so now it's time for Lewis to take a little more guff.
No, Lewis took a lot of shit this week.
He did. I know.
And I did too. And I was like, you know what? I could be a dick and just throw it back on him. Because that's just the way things roll around here.
Sure.
Once you dig yourself up out of the hole, you kick the next guy in.
That's it. Someone's got to be in there always. It's your day in the barrel.
Someone's got to fill that hole, literally.
Welcome to It's Erik Nagel. Not just a radio show, but a great name for a reality show. 866-969-1969 is the number to reach us here at the program. It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, E-Rock Radio on Instagram. Going to put up the information again. We're soliciting and looking around to see what's out there talent-wise for people who used to work in radio, podcasts, things like that. Going to post that information again in a little bit. We got some submissions.
Nice.
A lot of it I still have to go through because some people sent 1-hour chunks, 20-minute chunks, and I can't filter all of that stuff in a timely manner to put on the air. So I went through and I got one, maybe two shows that we're going to feature today, a little later in the program, and we'll check this stuff out. Also in the program, Sean Astin will be here. You know him, of course, from Goonies, maybe Rudy. He has a new movie called Woodlawn.
That one with the ring?
Oh, yeah, that
one with the ring.
His dad makes those great Bond cars.
What?
Never mind. Aston Martin, I was going really deep there.
Do you know who his dad is, though?
I have no idea who his dad is. I made a really
His
bad
dad
joke.
is John Astin. You know who that is?
Nope.
Gomez Adams from Adams Family.
No
shit.
shit.
That's his dad. And do you know his mom?
Mrs. Aston.
Not anymore.
Whoa.
His mom is Patty Duke.
Oh, no shit.
From the Patty Duke Show.
Oh. Wow.
Learn something new every day.
In that family.
How did you grow up on Nick at Night and not know this?
I knew Patty Duke. I didn't know who her fucking offspring were.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people.
Oh, you want to talk about his siblings? His brother was on Facts of Life. Mackenzie Austin. I know way too much about him and his family.
You do.
Are you
stalking
sponsored by Ancestry.com?
Right. So we'll talk to him a little later on the program. Also, we talked to these ladies out in San Diego for a group called Project You Are Okay. It's a organization that helps teenagers and young adults out with mental health issues and things like that. And they've gotten a lot of celebrity backing on this thing, where celebrities sit down and talk for a few minutes about the issues that they've had growing up, all the way up to what they're going through now. And to divulge that in that kind of way and putting it up on YouTube is kind of interesting.
Sure.
You know, because celebrities don't usually open themselves up that much unless they're forced to do so. So we'll talk to Jenny and Sarah a little later in the program and other stuff here. So let's go around the room, say hello to my co-host, Matt OG.
Hello.
Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram.
Indeed.
And fresh out of Swedish prison for all his bearded villain nonsense.
Listen, I am not part of the Swedish chapter, and I was not in prison.
Okay, but you're really getting well into this organization here. Not only just your Instagrams, but you're wearing the shirt.
It's a good organization.
What does the shirt say?
Well, this is actually not part of the Bearded Villains. This is another company called the No Shave Life Apparel.
Okay.
They make high quality apparel. The shirts are really nice.
That's a really nice shirt.
Yeah.
Do the Bearded Villains do live reads for those?
No, they do not. They do not. You know, you keep poking fun, but
I'm not poking. I know. I'm going to get jumped by a bunch of bearded men.
You're going to see it coming, because you're going to see a whole herd of guys with beards.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of charity work that goes on with them. My chapter alone, the New York, New Jersey chapter, we raised $10,000 for March of Dimes.
Wow.
We helped
How'd
raise
you do that?
Through fundraising and through online campaigns, stuff like that. We also helped raise another $10,000 for St. Jude's.
Oh, nice.
In the last couple of months.
I'm a big fan of that organization.
We did, and I participated in Habitat for Humanity about a month and a half ago. And we got some other big charity events coming up in the next couple of months. And that's just my chapter. And there are chapters all over the world doing charity work. So we poke fun at it, which is cool. I'm down.
So how do you start a chapter? Is it like starting Boy Scouts? Your dad's like, I'm not going to be a den leader.
No, it's actually mostly by where you are. It's mostly by state.
I don't have to build anything.
I'm not building anything, do I?
Or across the sea, Swedish chapter, Finland chapter.
Well, because I'm 50% Norwegian, so I was wondering if I could just sneak my way into the Norwegian bearded
You
guys.
could try, but there's a New York, New Jersey group, so
That's a little closer.
Just saying. But so there you go.
That's good. Where do they are they centrally organized? Is there like a website or or somewhere you can go to check out the Bearded Villains?
Yeah, you could go to their website, but that's mostly just for their apparel. They sell like apparel and stuff too. But if you really want to check out what they're doing, check out the hashtag Bearded Villains. Check out @Bearded Villains on Instagram. That's the main account. And then there are chapters all over the place. There's, like I said, check out the New Jersey, New York accounts. A good group of guys, and we're doing some good stuff. So
I can imagine a lot of people in the Midwest and up in Canada are fully qualified to join this organization.
Yes.
So do what Matt said. Check it out on Instagram there. Giddles is here. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, I'm pretty good. How are you?
You weren't here last week. Where were you?
I was upstate in the Catskills with some friends. We took a little mountain retreat and went up to Kingston, New York, and just kind of picked some apples and got some pumpkins and carved them and drank a lot and cooked a lot. It was pretty good.
Nice.
It was really nice.
I'm jealous.
It was pretty cool, except for like the long winding road up the mountain where you're like, oh man, if someone's coming down right now, we have to go backwards down a mountain 1.5 miles. Like, that's not going to be fun.
There's no pullover spots or nothing?
No, the road is as narrow as the car is.
Are there goats on the side of the road?
Yeah, and they fall off.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, there is no side of the road. Yeah.
Trying to clip the goats.
It's like a Mario level. I just see goats with their feet like spinning underneath them.
Yeah, there's just piles of cars.
You have to get this to unlock Rainbow Road.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody? All right, boo. So, how was your guys' week? What have you been doing?
Nothing exciting, to be quite honest with you. Oh, no, that's not true.
Well, that was exciting.
I had a very exciting Monday because I spent 4.5 hours trying to get tickets for The Force Awakens.
Oh, shit. Did you get them?
I did eventually the next morning.
For what year?
So, yeah. Actually, no, you know what? By not getting them Friday night, or Monday night, rather, because they figured out a way to get a bunch of nerds to watch Monday Night Football, which was brilliant marketing. But by not getting the Monday night, I actually got a 10:15 show on Thursday, so I don't even have to wait till midnight.
Oh, nice.
And it's at one of those dine-in theaters, so I don't even have to go and wait online early. I could roll up 10 minutes before the show, sit down, order a beer and a burger, and I'm good to go.
That's pretty awesome,
So
actually.
yeah, but it was a shit show, man. The servers crashed both in the UK. None of the servers can handle it. In the US, Fandango, movie tickets, all the sites, none of them can handle it. People were waiting for hours and hours and hours. People were getting up until the point where you would get your tickets in the cart and you would go to process your transaction and then it would time out. So I have my tablet open, I've got my phone open, both hitting different sites, and then I have a laptop also, and my laptop is just checking my PayPal account. Because I wanted to make sure that all these failed transactions weren't actually still going through.
It turns out you have the whole theater to yourself on opening night.
I booked an entire theater at the time it was over with. But I did get tickets, so I'm pretty excited to go and see it.
I also, this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I forgot all about the Star Wars trailer during Monday Night Football because I was watching Raw.
Sure.
And then I kind of looked at online. I saw something come up in my timeline. I went, oh, yeah. So I flipped over like right as it was coming on. I was like, oh, this is great. And instead of watching the trailer, I went, oh, yeah, Fandango. So I had the app open on my phone. And I got the tickets, like, no problem.
Now, see, while the trailer was airing and you were watching it, I was also on Fandango, but I just wasn't having any luck. I was just crashing out. So you got lucky.
I went in, picked the theater that I wanted, and I didn't go for Thursday or Friday we have the show, so I couldn't do it. And Thursday night is a school night, kid, so chances are Opie's going to be on in the morning, so I can't really take that risk. So I went and just bought Saturday afternoon tickets. Now, when we do the show that day, I'm sure Matt. Well, you're going to see it Thursday, right?
I'm going to see it
so
Thursday,
there won't be any spoilers for you. I was going to say, I'm sure you're going to kill anybody who's trying to give anything away. But rightfully so, since we've spoiled other things, people will probably ruin it for me.
I feel like the revenge is going to be bad for everything we've done.
Right. So we'll be on that Friday, and then I'm going to see it on Saturday afternoon. I got an early showing in the afternoon.
Very nice.
So I can watch it, and then go back to my new hobby of going to bed really early for some reason.
There's nothing wrong with sleep.
How did you get that hobby?
I guess physical exhaustion and the lack of will to do anything else. The last couple of weeks, I've been leaving here, 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock at night, and you get here in the morning for the morning show, so you're here for all day. Then fighting traffic in New York to get into Jersey and to get home, and I tried. I'll sit there. I'm like, I can catch up and get some extra work done. And then I just sit there. I'll have dinner. And then I'm like, I am too tired to do anything anymore. It's not that I don't care. It's just the old saying, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah. Sure.
So I'm just like, you know what? It's 7:45. I could kind of go to bed. So I would get up and I would just, get changed.
And what time are you up in the morning?
I get up 4:45.
Oh, okay.
And
all right.
Because you got to shower and everything like that, so it takes some time. So no, you get up and I just decided I'm going to bed, and I try to catch things on the DVR, but if I don't catch it, you know what? That's what the weekend's for. I'll try to do it then. So I'm behind on a lot of things, a lot of viewing, a lot of watching, which I want to get into, Flash and Green Arrow and things like that. But just going to bed it was always a luxury, when you were doing morning radio for all these years. I would go home, mostly I'll attribute to, too much sugar and soda and stuff like that. I would go home in the afternoon and crash. But it wouldn't be just like for an hour. It'd be like 4 hours. Giddles and I used to live together.
Oh, yeah.
At one point.
Eric had the weirdest hours, and I worked nights. And there was one time I remember where Eric ran into
No. I'll tell that story.
All right.
Where it was the wrong time of day?
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell that. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. But he knows that I would come home, I would change out of the clothes that I was wearing into like shorts and a t-shirt, and I'd go to bed, and it'd be 4 in the afternoon, and I have the shades drawn and the air conditioning cranking and whatever, or if it's in the winter, the windows open.
Yeah.
And I'd be asleep, and then I'd wake up. It's 10 p.m. Gills is playing video games or whatever in the living room, and I was just like, I'd get up, have something to drink, go right back to bed again. So I've rediscovered that sleep is not just a luxury anymore. It's essential, and it's now starting to overrule anything else in my life.
Well, you might need to get that in check as well.
No, it's actually doing me pretty good.
All right.
It's probably just years of just your body just catching up now, where you let it happen a little bit. It's like, that was really nice. I'm going to do that again and just sleep.
Right. But now,
it's almost winter. He's going to go into hibernation.
Oh my God. And then he's going to have a great beard.
If I could, you know what? I would gladly join your organization if I could take 4 months and just sleep through the winter.
A high beard nation.
Right.
Boo.
But don't ching. And I would gladly join by doing that if I could just sleep for 4 months.
Sure.
I don't know what it is, and it's not like it's something new that nobody else does, but it just rekindled something in me like, wow, sleep is so valuable to me now. I don't care about anything else. I'm just going to bed.
Yeah, man.
I can't.
And
do
you
that,
have a kid.
I can't do that.
And I know, but you get worn out from work. You have the kid to deal with, so your day never stops even when you get home until that kid is out, and then your day is over. But if you could go to bed at 8 o'clock, would you take advantage of that?
I don't. I'm a weird bird. I don't think I could go to bed at 8 o'clock, even if I wanted to, unless I was really past the point of exhaustion. 8 o'clock is just not even an option for me. Sometimes my wife will go to bed at 8 o'clock. She's like, fuck this day. I am going to bed. And I'm like, I wish that I could go to bed. Fuck you.
Yeah. I am going to sleep.
See you in the future,
asshole. I wish that I could do that, and I can't. Like,
and then she grabs him by the ear and, don't you wake me up.
That kid wakes up. You better get him before he wakes me up. Like 10:30 is my earliest. And then I'm up at like 4:15 because I go to the gym at 5. So, 10:30. That's about as early as I can do.
And Giddles always worked these weird hours because you were doing television, and some of the times you're there doing 14-hour sessions with editing, and then there's other times where he's going to work late at night and working through the night and coming back in the morning.
Sure. Yeah, my circadian rhythm is like completely off. Like, I don't know when to sleep. I just kind of go to sleep when I fall asleep. Like, when you guys say you're getting up for work, that's sometimes I'm lucky if I'm falling asleep by that time. It's
That's
very
insane.
Weird. Yeah.
And growing up, when I was going to school and whatever, and school was like 7:20, I think it started.
Yeah.
And waking up at 6 a.m. was misery for me. It's still misery now. But I was just like, I can't wait to get a radio job or a TV job where you don't have to get up this early in the morning. And then, fast forward to 2004 when Opie goes, hey, we're signing with XM and we're doing mornings now. And you're like, God damn it, no. But, this is the slot you want to do. You want to do mornings if you're in this business. Every other slot doesn't compare.
I don't know. I think Friday nights is pretty peachy keen.
Pretty chill.
When you're not doing this solely as your career, yes, Friday nights is definitely a lot of fun. But I've been here since this morning, so I've been waiting for you guys to come in.
Sure.
So
us slackers.
I know. We're just like running here. Where are you? Oh my God, I'm running here.
I'll tell the sleep story about the apartment.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a certain there's 2 times a year where the daylight in the morning is the same 12 hours later in the afternoon, early evening. So when you look outside, it could be the morning, it could be the evening. You don't know, right? Especially if you're in the city where the sun is blocked by buildings and you don't know which direction the sun's in right now. So this used to happen to me in this weird period of transitions into fall and into spring, where I would come home to the apartment and I would crash and go to sleep. And then I would wake up and all of a sudden be in a panic because it would say like 6:45 on the clock. And at that time, we were on at 6 a.m. So I'd go, holy, like I start screaming, I jump up, I'm grabbing clothes, I'm running, and we had what they call a railroad apartment in New York, which means besides from the living room, every room is connected to the other room. So you walk through room to get to the living room. I go running, and my room was in the front of the brownstone, and I had to go through another room, through the living room, to the kitchen, to the bathroom, go screaming past into the bathroom. I'm trying to get ready, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out, I can't find my phone, all this stuff's going on. And then I'm sitting there brushing my teeth. I'm like, why is Gill watching The Simpsons in the living room? I don't know.
Like eating spaghetti.
And I'm sitting there going through, and he's got like a friend with him. They're just hanging out. And I'm so wait, what? And I start walking out. I go, what time is it? And he's like, 6:45 p.m. And I go, God damn it! I yell, and then I go, well, I just ignore everybody, and I go back into the room and go back to sleep again. But this would always happen.
It's happened all the time. It's like when a cat runs into a room and then, like, freaks out for no reason and runs out. That's what it is. The cat has no idea what time it is. That's what it is. That's Eric.
I mean, I've done that on Saturdays, where, like, I'll get up on Saturday, and it's, like, 7 o'clock, and I'm like, I should be in the car already on my way to work, and I'll, like, run in the shower, and my wife is in bed, and, like, it doesn't click until I get back in the bedroom, and I'm like, oh, fuck. It's Saturday.
Yeah.
God, you know what? I just remembered that I did that once on a Saturday. That happened. I woke up, and it was the morning. I ran out and got ready, and when I was when we were living in Brooklyn, there was a car service across the street that I used to use to get to work. And they always had a car out front waiting for me to go every morning.
It could be the apocalypse. They would be sitting out there with an umbrella, be like, "Mr. Eric, we have to go now. The apocalypse is happening."
I had an account with them, you know, and they took good care of me. So I was like, I would hop in the car and they'd take me to work. So I was like, oh, there's no car here. I don't have time for this, and I go running. We live near a subway stop, so I'd run down there. And I'd get on, and like the subway's taking forever. I don't know what's going on. I would be on the subway listening to, and this is dating, my MiFi, you know, from whatever channel that I take.
MiFi.
And I'd be like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, you know, it's not, it's supposed to be express at a certain point, and it's not, now it's local. Then you figure out, oh crap, I'm going to work on a Saturday, so you got to turn around and get back on the N train and get off.
Ugh. That's a bitch.
It is.
It sucks.
Well, maybe you won't do it anymore. Maybe
I haven't done it in a long time.
Well, I think now that he's starting to get into his earlier sleep schedule, I think we'll see things change here.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a long time. Anything else been happening this week with you guys?
Not
before
for
we
me.
get into all the news that's been happening.
No, not for me.
No life stuff.
I started a new job on Wednesday.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm editing this TV show. And it's one of these shows you may have seen. I can't give out a name or anything, but it's
America's Got Talent.
Kind of bad comedians making fun of YouTube videos. Not Tosh. It's a different like style, but in that vein.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like that kind of show, and it's not a lot of fun. It's just.
Didn't you do? Weren't you working on, what was the bar show you were working on? Was it Bar Rescue? Barmageddon.
Yeah, that was another one.
Somehow I got stuck on a marathon of Bar Rescue, like, this was maybe a month or two ago. And it was just nonstop episodes. And I kept watching, and I'm like, why am I watching this? But I never went to get the remote, because I'd go back on the laptop and then look up again and watching
like
all this
7
nonsense
hours
going
later.
on. Right. And I don't understand it.
My roommates watch the Bar Rescue show, and sometimes I don't know what they're watching, and the guy's voice, when he screams, he starts to sound like a Meeseek. Or he'd be like, what are we doing? And I'm like, are you guys watching like a really angry Rick and Morty episode? Like, what is going on? Like, what's happening in the Meeseeks world? Nope, it's just his voice.
This bar sucks! Look at me!
Yeah, that's what he sounds like. Like, if you close your eyes, he sounds like a Meeseek. It's kind of crazy. But yeah.
So this show, when is it on or is it coming?
It's a new show. It hasn't aired yet.
Okay.
So
When does it come out?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just started Wednesday, so we'll see. It goes till December, and it's it's work.
All right.
Sometimes it's not all glamorous. Sometimes you just got to sit there and be like, "Yep, that's a dog wearing sunglasses on his butt."
Oh, well.
Riveting.
Let's go to some calls before we get into everything else. By the way,
Sure.
got a ton of stuff to give away. More
Nice.
Avenger stuff and other movies and all that cool stuff. Now, also, we got to figure out, too, we have all... And you've seen the prize closets now. It's
overflowing.
It's not even a prize closet. It's FAO Schwartz at this point.
There's all this stuff. And in fact, Titan just sent me this double vinyl set for Alien.
Ooh.
It's Ripley and people are going to kill me.
Nope.
What's the alien called?
The alien?
The black, yeah.
From
the
the
queen?
Xenomorph?
The Xenomorph,
yeah.
thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
I couldn't think of the
I thought it had like a really
name.
like Jill the alien. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know.
But it's a Xenomorph and it's Ripley together in a 2-pack, a vinyl set and stuff. So we got to figure out how to get rid of all of this
Nice.
stuff. We have a lot of shit and no ways to. We got to come up with some contests.
All right.
Some
you
concepts.
can try and put it in my pocket as I leave, and I'll try and stop you. And if I lose, then I guess I get to keep it. That could be the
right.
game.
But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to give away today, and yeah. So
We
if
got
you
a
want
lot
any
going
of
on
that
the
stuff-
show tonight.
Yeah, we do. So we got to move on here. Matt in Massachusetts. Matt, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Hey, Rock, how you doing?
Good, man. How's things in Massachusetts?
Shitty.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I just wanted to talk to you real quick because I heard earlier, I caught the show, when it started, and you were saying something about you were looking for talent for podcasts and all
Right.
this other stuff.
Yeah, we're looking at some stuff here. There's possibilities that we might bring on some new programs or whatever. Nothing's set in stone. There's no guarantee that any of this is going to come to fruition, but we're doing sort of an exploratory committee here where I'm looking at this stuff. I want to see people who used to do radio or who are in smaller markets or something that are looking to maybe take that next step to see what they have to offer. Some people do podcasts. A lot of them aren't good, but a lot of them could be good. You just never know. So I put it out there where saying send us your stuff and let us check it out, and then we'll go through some of the stuff here, the good and the bad, and then we're going to present it on Opie's show and have them go through it and see if there's anybody there that they want to bring on and give a trial run or something on the channel.
Amazing. I work construction, and one of my buddies sent me a clip of there's this podcast. It was called Lower the Standards, Higher the Average with Matt and Mike. And there was a clip of Bill Cosby singing Frozen, the Frozen song.
Ugh.
Let it go.
Ooh, that sounds really
You're not
creepy.
winning this over, sir.
That doesn't sound good.
Sorry, Matt.
It's bizarre, but it was pretty funny. And I don't know, they talk about like bad relationships or something like that. But where do you send that stuff in?
What I'm doing right now is I'm posting the link with all the information. Go to Twitter, go to It's Erik Nagel, and we'll have the link there with all the information of where to submit, what we're looking for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, and I said one quick thing before. I also wanted to know, because you guys would be the ones to ask, are they making a Power Rangers movie?
Yes. Yes, they are.
cast
This
it
week,
yet or anything, or?
this week they cast, I don't know who they cast, but this week they cast the Red Ranger, the Blue Ranger, and the Black Ranger.
And the
those
Green
cast-
Ranger is trying to fight CM Punk still,
There
so
you
he
go.
might be available.
So, they made those casting announcements over the last 3 or 4 days.
And is it supposed to be like a for adults, or is it?
It's a serious drama.
No, I honestly, I think it's going to be true to the goofiness of the Power Rangers.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wanted serious?
No, that's what I said.
I don't want it serious. No, I want it to be fun.
You wanted that campy
You wanted
American
that-
translation
Oh, yeah,
of a Japanese
absolutely.
product.
That was cool stuff.
I never found Power Rangers enjoyable whatsoever.
My son has now become obsessed with Power Rangers, and what I didn't realize is that there is literally like 50 different Power Rangers. There's like
I thought
classic.
there was like 5.
No, there's like Dino Thunder, SPD, Ninja Force. Then there's like Galaxy Hunter Cockbags or
See,
something. I don't even know.
This is where Transformers went wrong. When they just had the regular generations, then they had Beast Wars, and then they had all these other different incarnations, and you go, there's too much of this stuff. I don't care about this franchise anymore.
Yeah, and so my son now wants to watch different episodes every day, and I can't keep track of what the hell he's watching anymore. The Green Ranger occasionally pops up on one of the shows. I think he's on the Dino show. And then there's a Beast show. I don't even know. There's just,
So they have all different villains in each different world?
Oh, yeah,
Or is
man.
it all the same
Oh,
world
no,
and they're
no.
all just in different parts?
No, some of them like take place on different planets. It's
What?
crazy.
That sounds insane.
It's insanity.
Sounds like Drek.
Look, it's goofy and campy in that kaiju big battle kind of way.
It's a ripoff of Voltron, which Voltron was a product. It was called Go Lion in Japan, which was part of a series of just robots forming into other robots and taking on aliens and other robots, which, look, for the 70s and 80s, it's pretty damn good with a lot of the stuff that they were pumping out there, even though it wasn't in English. The original Voltron, like I said, was called Go Lion. Pretty violent.
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah, there was people getting, like, the robot was stepping on people and cutting them in half, and then they, of course, watered it down for the United States. But Power Rangers, just when that came around, that was like the tail end of this.
That
stuff,
was like
and you're
me. I
just
was like getting off of
it's
that
like
stuff.
this just looks, for people who don't know in the United States, it's a Voltron ripoff.
But for Power Rangers fans, I mean, there's a convention each year that's just, I think it's called PowerCon, I think, or something like that out in LA. That's like, it's big. Like, Power Rangers are a big deal. I was never a huge fan, but it has a fan base.
I knew this guy. I used to be a regular at this bar downtown, and it was a really just skeevy kind of dirty bar. But this guy was there, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the president of the Pink Power Ranger fan club." And he had like a website, and he brought all these Power Rangers with him, and it was like the weirdest thing. It was so creepy.
There's a song by a band. I don't know if they're together anymore. They were a punk band somewhere out of Texas.
Okay.
And I used to play them on my college show and my West Palm Beach show. But it's a band called Bickley.
Oh, you told me, but I think you played them for me a bunch of times.
I'm going to see if I can find it right now, because they have a song that fits in with this perfectly. No, that's okay. Don't cover for me while I'm doing this.
Well, you're the one talking. You're like talking and trailing off, like you're solving a mystery over there. Bickley?
Bickley. If anybody's a punk fan, they may like this.
Were they like a big touring band, or were they just like a local Texas band?
I don't know what they were, but they were awesome.
Eric found them. Oh, here we go. Is this karaoke?
They switched everything. No, I think they just put the lyrics in it because the guy has such a southern drawl.
You tell it because it says, "I seen there wasn't a video for this song."
Why is this not working?
Because technology.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Maybe there's no audio.
They replaced the computer over here. This computer died this week that we used to play everything off here.
That's sad.
I guess audio is not coming through. Hey, Lewis, look up in the delete system there. Look up. Oh, there it is.
I think there's just no audio on the front end of that clip.
Yeah, why wait 30 seconds to put audio? All right, we're going to play this, and then we'll come back and take more calls. I never thought I'd be able to work Bickley back onto the radio again, but we just found a way.
There you go.
If you're in Bickley, call up. Say hi.
Bickley, the song is called The Pink Power Ranger, and in parentheses, I Want to Fuck. So if you couldn't tell by the lyrics, there you go if you want to go to iTunes or whatever and download that song.
It's a saucy song.
Yeah, it's not safe for radio.
Let's go to Rich in Wisconsin. Rich?
Hey, how's it going, boys?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, good. Hey, I love the fact that you open with the Toasters.
I love the Toasters.
Do you? Rob Hingley is a really good old buddy of mine. I didn't know if you knew his geek credibility.
I did not.
I did not.
Rob is the lead singer-songwriter. He basically is the Toasters. But he came to New York originally to open the first New York Forbidden Planet store.
Oh, nice.
No shit.
Is that the one down by Union Square?
Yeah, Forbidden Planet's great.
Yeah, but they moved now, right? They're not there?
No, this was
They're
the
still
old
there.
one.
Yeah, it's the old one, yeah.
And, and when I moved to New York, he gave me a job, and I worked at Forbidden Planet there with, like, half the Toasters all worked there. And, they had, like, Bob Singerman and Liberatory and all these cartoonists do their early, like, single sleeves and stuff.
That
So
makes
those guys
sense.
Yeah, those guys are all, like, hardcore, like, sci-fi and comic nerds.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I was a big Toasters fan.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them live a couple times. I actually got to
I
skank
think I
on
probably
stage
have
with
and
the
don't even
Toasters.
remember. Did they do? I'm sure they did like Warped Tour and something like that, right?
Oh yeah, they played around the city all the time. They used to play like what was it called?
Lion's Den.
Lion's Den. There was that other place. It was like the rainforest place that was down by like the Canal Street Wetlands.
Okay.
They played there a lot.
Yeah, right.
Coney Island High, like lots of like those old school like venues.
I saw them in
Tramps.
Jersey with the Violent Femmes.
Oh, nice.
It was a good show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's not a bad show.
No,
too.
it was an awesome show.
Back
it was
when
a
I still
great
cared to
night.
go into concerts, I would have
Yeah.
gone to see that.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you still talk to the guy, but if
Oh, yeah.
maybe anybody
We're
out there
still in
listening, we'd love to have him on the show.
I'll let him know. Yeah, he actually moved to Spain with his family
Because
because
Bush won the election.
Well, after 9/11, he had
usually
a
why
lot
they
of
leave.
trouble getting in and out of the country
Okay.
because he's still an English citizen.
Even if it's a phone call, we can do that.
Yeah, but he's moving back to the States, and I think they're going to be back on tour in the U.S. in the spring. So I'll let him know.
Well, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. You know what? I'm going to hook you up with a copy of Age of Ultron Avengers 2, all right?
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man.
All right, no problem, man. Just hang on hold there. Glad that people still love the Toasters, and there's really nothing ska coming out anymore. Bands that do that, and if they are, they're disguised as some other format.
Well, no, I think there's still like an underground.
There's still like an
scene.
underground scene, because I have a friend who still plays in like a ska band, and they still play with like the Toasters and like those bands when they come around. But
there's still like that.
Very few and far between.
Well, remember, it always was sort of an underground scene. Like the Warped Tour kind of brought some of it to the forefront, right? But for the most part, ska was never really mainstream, was it?
It was like a little bit. Like there was points where they're playing like Real Big Fish and Less Than Jake on like K-Rock and stuff like that a lot. But that wasn't
even
like
for radio when ska that what it was called, third wave,
Third
right?
wave,
Third wave for ska. Even when they were playing it, it was very, very select. Like they were considering the like Tragic Kingdom, no doubt, part of ska. When their first album was more based on what band originally was, and then Tragic Kingdom was their transition between what they used to do into what they were looking to do, and then getting more pop and synthetic, I guess, with their music.
Some songs on Tragic Kingdom had that third wave sound. Some Goldfinger songs.
Oh yeah,
we started Goldfinger the show. We started the show with Goldfinger last week. With Superman. So you may know that from Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Ooh, love Goldfinger.
Well, I feel like a lot of ska music just got relegated to like commercials really fast. Where it's like, hey, come try the new Chili's burger.
It was that catchy beat.
Yeah.
But I miss going to ska shows. And I used to like stuff like Hepcat 2 and the specials and Selector, and I liked Madness. I mean, I like a lot of that
Enormous
stuff.
Lemon Stands? Those guys are great.
I never heard of them.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Selector was good though. Didn't they have that thing on the radio? Wasn't that one of their songs? On the radio.
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe
right?
that was them. Yeah.
Hepcat.
I saw Hepcat a bunch of times. The Scofflaws, the Scotalites.
The Scofflaws.
Oh my God.
When I was doing One Step Beyond on WLIR on Long Island,
That's a good song too.
with Jay Wolf, I don't know what he was. He claimed he was the manager of the Scofflaws. His name was Scotzo, and he talked like this.
He had a gigantic head too.
Yeah, for like the O&A listeners, picture Ira but turned to 11.
Oh God.
How's it going, Jay? Like that. That was Scotzo, and he was supposed to give out like all the club dates and stuff of everything going on in the city, but he was too hammered or miscellaneous, to function on the air, and then all of a sudden he stopped coming. But yeah, the Scofflaws were one of those bands where
they played all the time around here.
They played everything. Yep. If there was a show, these guys, and kudos to them, they did not want to work real jobs. They took every opportunity possible to just be a band.
But look, if you're in a band, that's kind of what you have to do to a certain degree. Like you have to do it, right? You have to have that flexibility. And where I grew up in Central Jersey, so I was really close to the Stone Pony. I was really close to Birch Hill. I was close to Club N.A., which used to do comedy shows, but it also had a lot of music venues. I saw Fishbone there, and I'm trying to think. I saw a couple of bands.
I've never been to. I always wanted to, but I used to see it on, obviously Back to the Beach.
Right.
But you would see sometimes HBO would do these weird music programs that were really late at night, like 2, 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They would be at a concert somewhere like that, and I saw a couple of different Fishbone shows. It just looked insane.
Fishbone's crazy.
Seriously, like no kidding aside, the 2 craziest shows I've probably ever been to was Slayer at Birch Hill and Fishbone, because the crowd at Fishbone was nuts, like violently nuts. I mean, the music was fantastic. It was a great vibe, but God damn it if you didn't have on armor.
Dude, man, some crowds are like that. I was at a show recently, and I was like, I'm going to get up front. This is like a normal band. Like, it's not going to get crazy. And then I was pinned against the wall like a recycled can, just getting crushed. I was like, I got to get out of here.
Play a little hip cap for us while we're talking about this.
Hey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Hepcat was.
I remember because you had like
shit.
the Moon Ska was like the big label in the city, and they put out like all the Moon Ska compilations, and then you'd have like the people who were like really devout ska people who were like, no man, anything that's not just reggae ska is not ska.
Right.
And then everyone else would be like third wave punky, would be like, no, fuck your reggae ska.
Pie tasters and checkered cabs
goldfish and
there's some man. Huh, it makes me want to go back and dig up my old CD collection.
Yeah, I have my old CD collection.
I think my old ska stuff is sitting in a book somewhere. Like I got rid of the
I have them in a book.
Because I
That's what
took
I had.
Opie's example. I think it was like 2006. He
just
decided to
tossed
get
cases?
He got rid of everything. You know, I just decided to rip everything onto a hard drive and then got rid of the CD. Well, actually, some of the ones that I could still sell that would be worth money, I sold, and everything else I put into boxes and just gave away to people and what have you. But I think a lot of those ska compilations, some of them are on cassettes, I think, still.
I have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I have ones on cassette.
Yeah, I know, I do.
found them recently.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to transfer them out.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring them in. I got a thing at home that dubs the tape right to digital.
Because I remember when I first got into ska, even though CDs are readily available, right? But a lot of the stuff that I got was like passed around from friend to friend still, and so it was these compilation cassettes because we weren't burning 90, 94, 95. We weren't burning CDs all the time yet.
Yeah.
Well, probably actually 93.
That's when you were like,
94,
I got
95,
a 4-speed CD.
Yeah,
Like, I'm burning this quick. But that wasn't the only thing that was being passed around at ska shows.
No, certainly not.
But that's how I got it. Everything, like, people just give me comps and just, like,
Yeah.
burn CDs. But I think that's how a lot of people, like, got into music just growing up.
Somewhere out there exists pictures of me in like black and white wingtip shoes and like black pants with a white shirt and suspenders.
I'm sure there's, like,
rocking out.
Were
I'm
you
sure-
a Rudy?
I was a Rudy for a bit.
I can picture you. You can do that outfit, like, right now. You
Yeah,
get the
I could.
haircut, the beard. Like, you got this.
Yeah, I was a Rudy for a while. It was a good scene, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, the days. We'll have to bring that back in some way. Imagine we could do a concert.
I'd love to.
I know,
Awesome.
I
have to
know.
imagine. I could picture it in my head.
No, but I mean, for this show, and do bring some ska bands back, and do a concert here in New York.
That would be awesome.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen. We know people, right?
I know people.
I'm gonna talk to Hard Rock Johnny.
There you go.
See what we can do.
Now you're cooking.
And I know at least one band I'm friends with. And if they will travel up out of D.C., we'd love to have them. Steve Pie Taster.
Oh, I love the pie tasters.
That would be awesome.
All right, let's think
All right.
about this and work on that.
All right, let's think
I
about
have a
it.
venue we could put it on at.
Where?
St. Vice, where I make all the meatballs for. It's a venue in Brooklyn. It's awesome.
Okay.
So I can actually do that.
There you go.
I'm not joking.
He's serious. He has a venue.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It's like a gunpoint. I have a
No,
venue.
I have a venue. I will get us. You need a ska show? I'll get you a ska show by 3 o'clock with nail polish.
I think we should sally forth. Take
Let's
a call
go
or
to, let's go
do
to Hal in
something.
Arkansas. Hi, Hal. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. I was wanting to ask you. I was too old when the Power Rangers came out, so I never really gave an ounce of fuck about them.
Right.
But did y'all see the little indie serious movie that was released a year or two ago?
Yeah, actually, I don't even think it was a year or two ago. Wasn't it like...
I think it was like 6 months
It
or
was like
something.
6 or 7 months ago. But I know what you're talking about. It was a really serious take on the Power Rangers. It was kind of cool.
I gotta say, if they went with that angle as a grown up, I'd totally be there. But if y'all want to have the little kitty kaiju thing, that's cool.
Yeah. Look, I think the property lends itself to the goofiness that it was, but certainly if you were willing to take a very serious spin on it, it's cool. It's a cool concept. I mean, it's Pacific Rim in a lot of ways. I mean,
I was just going to say, that's exactly what it is. Pacific Rim.
So, yeah, look, but that little clip is pretty cool.
The
I know
one
exactly
thing
what you're talking about.
that bothered me with the fight scenes with the Power Rangers was, at least in Voltron, you knew this. There was the Robo Beast that they called it.
Sure.
And they would be attacking a village, and killing a whole race off a planet. And they would run to the lions, fly out of the castle, beyond light speed, be at another planet within moments to fight this thing. Never thinking, let's just form the robot now and have the sword out so we can get this done with. They always attacked as the lions. Then they're like, oh, this isn't working. Let's fight as the robot, and we're not going to use the sword yet. We're going to shoot the lions off our hands and feet and try to make this like Energon cube-looking like
Shock and
mace
awe, man.
thing.
Shock
right?
and awe.
It's like, all right, well, we better just make the sword. So they form the blazing sword and go and they kill everything. It's like you could have just saved us all the time. But that was every episode. With the Power Rangers, it was the Beast would be there. They would show up to fight the Beast because the Beast was the same height as the humans. And then a lightning bolt or some kind of witch would show up and cast a spell. Now this thing is a huge robot, so they got to go, crap, we got to go run and get our version.
The Megazord or whatever.
It's just like, this is taking forever.
It was like a DBZ
Somebody
episode.
just die already. I need to get on with my life.
It took 50 episodes for Goku to beat Cell or whatever it was. It's the same thing with Did
you ever see the Crank movies where they like spoof that at the end of Crank 2? It's great. And it's totally tongue-in-cheek monster movie. It's awesome.
Hal, I'm going to put you on hold, give you a copy of Age of Ultron, all right?
All right, cool.
All right, no problem. Lewis will get your information there.
It's almost like Power Rangers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but a lot cooler.
All right.
Let's go out west to Iowa and say hi to Vince the Trucker. Vince, how are you?
Good, E-Rock.
Where are you going to today?
I left Oklahoma this morning, and I'm headed home. I just hit Iowa.
And
good for you.
The age-old question for the truckers, what you hauling?
I got big rolls of paper on today.
Nice.
Big rolls of paper to go to a sheetrock place to make sheetrock.
That sounds riveting.
Like the paper that like wraps the sheetrock, or you make the sheetrock out of the paper?
You know, sheetrock has that like
paper
has
on the
that,
outside.
that paper back.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're like 6 foot around, but I really enjoy your show. I'm 60 years old, still got a flip phone, so half the stuff you talk about's over my head, but I enjoy listening.
Well,
Thank you,
Thanks
Vince.
so much, man.
You know what? God bless you, sir, for one, for doing what you do, but two, at that age, to still having the desire, or maybe, I don't know if it's financial means that you're doing it, but the desire to go out there and still do this on a daily basis.
Yep. And then me and the old lady only got 2 days a week together, so we get along a lot better if I'm going home.
That always helps. Well, thank you, Vince. You're a swell young man.
You know what? I'll give you something that might be a little bit more your speed. No pun. Do you have the full rig in your truck there where you can, watch TV and sleep and all that?
I just got the satellite radio, and I sleep in it all week, but
Oh, so no DVD or any of that stuff?
No, I just leave it on this channel pretty much all week.
Okay, well, I guess I can't give him that. I don't have anything to give a trucker. I feel bad. No, I got to find trucker prizes.
There you go. We'll find specific prizes.
Not those dumb beaded seat covers that I don't think anybody actually enjoys. But we'll find something one of these days to give them. But Vince, thank you so much for calling, man. We do appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, take care, man. Let's go to Blake in Alabama.
All right.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How are
Hey,
you?
Blake, how's it going?
Doing good, man. I'm a new listener, and I really like what I hear. You guys remind me a lot of me and my friends and the conversations we have, so it's really cool. Really good listening.
Is there a lot of screaming and yelling and you're saying, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, I'm not talking to you anymore?
Absolutely. That's how you know you're good friends. Yeah, so, no, I'm a huge Batman fan. I've always been a big Batman fan. So I was just curious you guys' thoughts on Batman vs. Superman and the DC Cinematic Universe.
You don't really want my opinion, Blake. You're not going to be happy with it.
I take it it's not good then.
No, you know what? I'm a huge Batman fan. Love the animated series. I still read the comic book as much as I can. I think Scott Snyder's run on the book has been some of the best in years. Capullo's artwork is fantastic. That being said, the DC Cinematic Universe, in my personal opinion, is a shit show. And the universe that I like is the CW universe. I think what they're doing with Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow and hopefully Constantine in the near future, I think that's a great universe. I think they treat the characters with respect and they tell some good stories. I hated Man of Steel. I'm only looking forward to Batman vs. Superman because I think Ben Affleck makes a good old Batman, but that's it. I'm not looking forward to Suicide Squad or any of that stuff. But, I mean, look, I'll probably end up seeing it, but...
Yeah, I get it. I'm kind of on the same page. I'm still a little skeptical. I think the biggest issue I have with Arrow is that they've essentially just made Oliver Queen Bruce Wayne. In my opinion, there's only one Bruce Wayne. You know?
Yeah, but Oliver Queen was always sort of a Bruce Wayne character. He really was. He was, but he was a vigilante kind of like Bruce. He was rich like Bruce. Yeah, But I'm a big Arrow fan, so I'm a big Green Arrow fan for years and years and years, so maybe that's why I'm a little biased towards Arrow.
Well, good deal, man, but yeah, I really enjoy the show, man. I like it a lot.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks, Blake. Blake, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to give you a copy of, you a Marvel fan at all?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you a copy of Age of Ultron, all right?
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Put you on hold there. And then we got some other stuff we're going to get to in just a moment. But we have some guests here in the studio.
Yes, we do.
And let's Matt's here. And
how's it going?
G-Paul?
G-Paul Silbetti, yeah.
Matt wrote me a few weeks ago, hearing the food stuff that we were doing, craft beer stuff, whatever, and he said, hey, look, we've got something that I would like to bring to your show. I think you guys would enjoy this. Now, it's your company?
Yeah, it's my company I just started, but it's my uncle's recipe that handed it down to me.
All right, what's the name of the company?
It's called Uncle John's Country Gravy.
Okay, and where are you guys out of?
We are out of Bridgewater, New Jersey at the moment. Yeah, central New Jersey, where it is, so we're far from here.
Is that where you really think of country gravy, from Bridgewater, New Jersey?
Well, my uncle, actually, he's from North Carolina, so that's where it originated.
I was looking for some credibility, and there it is. Thank you.
Yeah, that looked really weird.
It's like, what was it? Was it Pace, the salsa commercial? Made in New York City, and then they lynched the guy.
Yeah.
Jesus, you take your salsa way too seriously.
Yeah, it's just tomatoes.
Yeah, I understand that.
So tell us about the country gravy here.
Yeah, so it all started, I went to North Carolina always for Thanksgiving, and, after a big moonshine night on Black Friday, waking up, passed out, my uncle would make this little, gravy, and I didn't know what it was, and all of a sudden I tried it, and it was like heaven. I mean, you as a foodie, roll into, the consumer, I tasted it. It was the most amazing thing I ever tried, and every year I would say, why aren't we selling this? I've been to so many restaurants, diners, from North Carolina all the way to New Jersey, because we drive there, and nothing has been as good. And every place, I go around and everyone asks me about it because I wear the shirts, and diners and restaurants have came to me, and food trucks asking for,
All right, let me ask you what you just said. You go around and you don't see it, or it's not that good. Is there really that big of a demand for country gravy in the North?
The North, it's not as big as it is down South. Down South is like us saying I'm having Cheerios.
No, I know, because it's on, when I was down in Florida, it's on everything,
Yeah.
and they would get, pissed if I put ketchup on eggs.
Exactly,
They're
yeah.
Ew, and I'm like, look what you're making. It's like, I can't eat that on a daily basis. I mean, I'd like to, I just would die.
Yeah.
You know what, if I may? Actually, on the way over, it is hard to gauge the interest from the Northeast.
Right.
When you're talking about people from the South. But even on the train, we're carrying the samples, and everyone wanted to know what it was. Matt says, oh, it's country gravy, and people were just absolutely freaking out.
Mostly the black people.
It could be, look,
very interesting.
those trains are cattle called at this time of day, so they're like, oh my God, free food. Maybe if we're nice to this guy.
Well, I think, though, what's good about it up here is that maybe it's not as much of a commodity, so if you find a good one, you want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not
on every street corner. It's not on every meal. So...
Yeah, a lot of people were hoping it was pop brownies when we were walking by. At least 10 people thought that.
They thought I was carrying the brownies.
All right, we'll talk after.
Yeah, that's a little extra.
So your uncle gave you the recipe, and you decided to make a go of this as a business. Now, are you just making the gravy, or do you have other stuff too?
We make the gravy right now at the moment, but we also make the biscuits that and we're making actually 2 products right now that I don't want to talk about because it's not on the market yet. And I submit for Shark Tank. I have just countless people asking, and
You were on, or you submitted to?
We submitted to Shark
submitted
Tank.
to, okay.
Yeah, submitted to Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Really?
They take all your money.
That's okay. They're not going to take much.
You know what you need to go on? You know what you need to go on? West Texas Investors Club.
Everyone tells me to do that, yes.
We had Rooster McConaughey on here and his buddy Butch. Couldn't have been nicer, and what they're looking to do is they're just looking to do upstarts. They're not looking to, the Shark Tank is like they want a percentage in negotiating for the business. They want to put it up front, say, okay, if you succeed, we get our money back and we'll take a little bit of this, but it's to push the business out there. So it's more of a friendlier take. Like, these guys came from nothing, built up, and they had help. They flat out say people helped us. Wow. We got to where we are. We paid that back, and now they're trying to pay it forward in a way. Yeah. Get on that show.
Yeah, because Kevin O'Leary seems too much
buddy
like a
over
dick.
there is waving. He knows what I'm talking about, right?
Well, not only that,
Al,
but
right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people
don't know. If you want to
know.
hop on that mic over there, you can.
My man, rolling. What's up, buddy?
But I don't think a lot of people know that, Shark Tank is that if you go on that show and they don't pick your product, they still get a percentage of it if you make money down the line.
Right, that's the problem.
See, that's why I was telling you it's not.
Yeah. We actually...
no, go ahead.
Yeah, tomorrow actually, we're actually going to, I don't know if Roland, you know as well, there's a cheesesteak festival in Philly, and we're actually promoting there. I'm a contestant in there, so...
Nice.
Cheesesteaks?
I'll bring some tomorrow.
Nice one.
got a half-eaten one. But
Say hi to Steven Singer while you're down there. He usually sponsors all of those
Oh,
things.
I hate Steven Singer.
I know. Very clever.
I know the show.
Green cheesesteaks, I make the jokes.
You're very demanding, Roland.
It's fun. I asked Roland. I love Roland. He's one of my favorites.
Have you been checking out? He brought the food court back.
His show, I'm not gonna. I love your show. I really. I'm a foodie as well. I love your show. You know the best places. Like honestly, it's just
Get closer.
so good.
Thank you. But it's dinner time. You should buy me cheesesteaks.
He's paying you a compliment. Stop thinking about your stomach.
you.
Now,
He's like, he could pay me in food.
Nothing made me happier though that you guys got shows because you guys were my secret favorites.
Thanks, man. I
I gotta
appreciate
say
it.
thank you for that.
For those who don't know, just a quick sidetrack. Roland is bringing his food court back. Did 3 episodes this month.
Nice.
The latest one aired yesterday,
yeah.
and it's on SiriusXM on demand and also on YouTube for Roland's Food Court. He had Emerald Lagasse. You had Justin Warner, right? And Bobby Flay.
That's awesome. That's a
Bunch of
great
no-names.
lineup.
That's a great lineup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are those guys?
Who are those guys?
I'll tell you this: there's a lot of celebrities that come in and out of SiriusXM, and you can see when people all go nuts for depending who was here,
Sure.
right? You know, sometimes it's a music star. Sometimes when Derek Jeter was up here, people were going nuts, but nobody was allowed near him. Oprah was up here, people go nuts. Lady Gaga, 5 Seconds of Summer, things like that. But then Roland gets these chefs that it's not on the main list. They're just coming up to see Roland and talk to him, and everyone's like, "You had Bobby Flay here?" Like they find out, do you have an extra
I love
book?
Bobby Flay.
I wanted to get I love Bobby. Exactly. They're freaking out, and you're like, "Really? Over Bobby Flay?"
Yeah, man.
People go
I
nuts.
want to meet Bobby Flay.
Because being a chef, I think, is one of the most underrated, creativeness of jobs. Like, no one really talks about chefs as much as they are now, and I'm happy they are. 'Cause
Right.
they're so creative. You've ever seen, they're so, like, chopped. Like, they think of things within 10, 20 minutes, just out of nothing, and create this most amazing, intricate, like, meal. It's mind-boggling, honestly. I get it's so much credit.
I had Robert Irvine in. His new show is tougher.
I know. Yeah.
he
Tougher
said-
than Chopped?
Well, he said, he puts crazy ingredients together, but you have to make a delicious, savory dish.
Yeah.
Go.
I like Robert Irvine, too. I've liked all of his shows.
I want to see Roland's food court, like Roland's version of a Chopped.
Yeah.
Just like,
why-
what restaurants do you own? Bring me it all.
How does he not have a TV show? It's hysterical. I know it's not PC.
Roland, last year, Roland and his partner, the Mad Cuban,
Yeah. I love the Cuban.
Cubans had a show pilot for Food Network, and it included. The start of the show is Roland's food court, and then when they leave the food court, Carl goes off on his adventures owning a restaurant, whatever.
Yeah.
It's called Carl's World. You can find it online. But it aired on the Food Network. I guess it didn't. They aired the pilot, but it didn't get picked up, right?
Yeah.
But Food Network is always constantly trying to figure out a way to do something with the food court.
Yeah,
we just haven't figured out the right way to do it yet.
Well, I do remember the first show that he called.
I think it has to do with my physique sometimes.
Well, more so, I think you did call one of the listeners a cunt. I think.
Well, they were acting like one, so I called them out.
No, because the lady saying how she's skinny or something, or she loves food, and you're like, no, you're just a fat cunt.
That sounds about right.
This took a really odd turn.
Yeah,
Can we get back to country gravy?
so my price is
Bring it back to
350.
Power Rangers.
But I learned a new term, though, for her. She's a twat.
What happened?
Well, you're a scholar.
Scholar.
And
She's a nice lady.
All right, so let's get back to country
Yes,
gravy
oh,
here.
yeah,
So
let's.
you get your
'Cause it
uncle's
smells
recipe
good.
and you
Yeah.
decide
does smell good.
to take this up on your own here. Where did you get the capital to start all of this stuff?
Actually, my uncle, he's a 50-50 partner. I'm the CEO. He's president of it. So whatever I put in, I have my own money, and my father helps as well. And because he believes in it so much, and like I said, the demand is a lot higher than I expected. Honestly, it's so big, so I had to get more capital to get it. I'm actually in talks with my other uncle. When I finish my business plan, which is almost done, and he's going to get me another investment. And it's just so many people. I just can't believe it. I'm so thankful because I walked into Walmart yesterday and I was wearing this shirt, and 5 people came up to me saying, "I tried that stuff. Oh my God, when's it going to be in the market?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, wow, really? Like, all right.
No, that's great. I'll admit I'm surprised too, especially up here for the reaction when how Lay's does those potato chips, 4 flavors every year, where they put them all out the country and
Biscuits
you get the
and
vote,
gravy
right?
one.
Biscuits and gravy. So of course the consumer gets all 4 and goes through everything. By the way, the gyro are the worst ones. Don't even bother with those.
The Reuben ones are pretty bad too.
The what?
The Reuben ones.
I kind of like the Reuben one. That's a 50-50. Everyone, because I did taste tests around here, because why work when you can taste test food? And
Hard work.
it was 50-50. You know, some
Yeah.
people loved it, some people. I thought it tasted really good. The one I was surprised at the most was the biscuits and gravy flavor that Lay's put out. That people were like, "Oh my god, I gotta have more of that."
Yes.
And the other one was the West Coast truffle fries that people loved.
Those were
I was
good.
so
Those were really
surprised
good.
about the biscuit and gravy that people loved it.
I'm not knocking them, but when I want a potato chip, I kind of just want a potato chip. I want biscuits and gravy. I want just biscuits. I don't want a fucking Reuben potato chip. I want a Reuben.
You don't.
Why not both?
Give me,
You can't put them on the Reuben though.
give me
Oh my
like.
God.
I go. I'm crazy. I like a little the onion potato chips. Those
are
are good.
good.
Or
Sour cream and
vinegar.
onion? Yeah.
Vinegar were good too.
Yeah,
Salt and vinegar are the way to
Yeah.
go. But country gravy here, so this could be the new sriracha. This could
Honestly,
be
I
the
mean-
new, if you can get hipster Brooklyn on top of this
I don't
thing.
like.
No, I know, but you say that now. But if they're buying everything, you're going to learn
Yeah,
to love them.
I was gonna say, like, you don't think the market's there, but everyone in Brooklyn is like, hey,
Yeah.
come to our country
I bet
southern
it-
style restaurant. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot bigger than you think it
I
is.
better,
Eric.
I better talk to
Hey, your
Sterling South.
overalls aren't
Yeah.
ironic anymore.
I'll show you the cool places in Brooklyn.
Yes.
You have
get-
to use smorgasbord in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
the
you need.
key.
You can set up next to the Sunday gravy people, and you can have like the gravy
Yeah,
station.
kick
it's
their
like
ass.
smorgasbord. All the Mighty Quinn started there. Now they're everywhere.
A lot of places started there.
Butterscotch started there. Now they're the hottest cake
Rolling,
in
you and me,
Pine Tree.
buddy. Let's take it. Cheesesteaks.
Yeah, oh, I'll take a sample though right now.
The only problem is they wouldn't let me cook. I couldn't cook. I had to put it in a microwave, and
I'll still eat it.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll still eat it. It still smells delicious.
He had an electric
You
burner
can put
here
that in
that
the
he
freezer.
that he needed to
Ice cream.
heat the stuff
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
But I tried to engineering because they got to route the power from somewhere outside of the studio so it doesn't blow a fuse and take all of this out.
Almost like the
But
microwave.
I couldn't. It's a Friday. I tried my best. I couldn't get anyone to approve it. It's not like we can just plug it in here, and because if we
Well,
did, and
before it
then we
gets
took
cold
out
again.
OutQ, EW, and us.
Before it gets solid.
I think you're onto something over there. You're probably right.
Yeah. No, we'll pass
You know,
that.
I've had this gravy on just about everything, and I really enjoyed it on pizza. I know
Yeah,
it sounds
ooh,
very
it's on
unlikely,
everything.
wow, but
like the
it's
fa-
amazing.
The fat sandwiches at Rutgers and King Wing and Hillsborough as well. They just pile it on, and everyone's obsessed with it. They put fries. They put on fries, fried chicken, biscuit.
Or a
obviously.
Thanksgiving sandwich on it.
Oh, here they
We're gonna
come.
open up a restaurant, Roland.
Roland's making up his
You know
own
exactly what I
Roland,
want.
you do the honors of
Dump it.
getting that ready.
Just dump
I'll
it.
move all this stuff out of the way.
People
He's just gonna
drink
start
it.
drinking it.
I was gonna say, give him a twisty straw.
Roland, are you a fan of the sausage
He's
and
going
gravy?
for all of it.
It's pretty aggressive
Biscuits
technique
and gravy.
there.
Sorry.
I love this thing. But you can't find it in New York though.
Exactly.
It's too expensive.
Exactly.
$21.
I know.
Oh, thank you.
Like that.
Well,
It's too expensive to make this.
No, it's the people
Yeah,
selling
cost.
it are
$21.
Yeah, they're
Oh, wow.
making it too pricey, and it doesn't cost too much, but
I want to ask you. I don't want to do it on air because I don't want to talk about your recipe. I'll do it off air.
Yeah.
But my grandmother used to. My great grandmother used to make this kind of stuff because she had a farm out in Illinois. So I just want to compare notes as far as what.
I heard
what do you think,
Roland.
Roland?
that's gonna make my day. Thank you, Roland. You guys can keep
I'm
this.
a bathe in there right now.
It does.
Oh, that is really
You know what?
good.
I'm
Ah,
going to take a
there
little fork here.
Yeah, right here.
Come on, consumer. Give that consumer report.
Roland's smacking my hand away.
That's really, really good, actually.
Thank you, thank you. I just wish it was hot and the biscuit was crispy.
You know
like
what?
We're from New Jersey.
You know what?
It's so good,
It's
man.
it's really delicious like this, so I can only imagine it's 100 times better.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's a pain in the ass to eat with a beard, but then again, everything is a
We're
pain
the
in the
beer
ass
club
to
here.
yeah.
I like it.
Well,
Go beer to go home.
Well, I know, man. I know.
Go gravy or go home. Jesus.
it passed the first test. I didn't go blind.
Yeah, right. Very careful. There.
That,
know what it was, but fire made it
I'm not a
good.
fan of. I'm not normally. I'll say a fan of the country gravy and stuff.
Yeah.
But whatever that little kick is that's in there
That's a little
makes
secret.
it because I've had white gravy.
That's what it is. It's the kick.
Actually,
in the South and a lot of the times it's very bare bones. How a lot of the Southern recipes are, and
Yeah,
it's
it's very
just
bland.
very fattening and and it's bland. And I'm like, I don't know how people love this stuff. I'm not even a
Exactly.
biscuit fan either,
Yeah.
but. Whatever you have with that recipe is really
Well,
good. Because I'm
actually-
still tasting a little bit, but it's not in a bad way.
a little thing is my friend over there who's part of my manager. We're friends with the family that makes glitter, and they're making a new pepper that's coming out. So it's an organic pepper that they introduce into the new stuff we're doing.
So
it's-
that's what's in this right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, we have, like I said, we got nice special, spices and herbs that no one has. I've checked every place, talked to all the chefs that do this type of stuff. No one is doing what we're doing. And like I said, at the moment, we're selling at flea markets. We're doing diners and restaurants soon in the future, in central New Jersey, and then we're going to spread out. It's going to take over. Because I went to Cracker Barrel, actually, and I was kind of an ass in a way, because I was like, they're like, why'd you bring that jar in? I'm like, well, your gravy sucks, so.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but that's one of the places that I've tried. But I love Cracker Barrel.
Me too, I love Cracker Barrel, but the gravy's
Chicken
bad.
and dumplings and hash brown casserole.
The gravy is pretty bland.
So I had brought the jar in, then all these people came over, and, people that were sitting down, the manager came over, they're like, what'd you bring this? I'm like, try it. Like, don't try your gravy anymore, try this. And they tried, like, oh my God, here's the number to the marketing. If get this in here. This is great. We need this. And it's just, ever since then, every weekend I'm selling gallons and gallons of it. It's amazing, and it goes with everything, And there's no GMO, it's just perfect. It's just the best thing in the morning to have.
Make it sweet for pancakes.
Morning, noon, and night.
Ooh.
Make it a little sweet for pancakes and French toast.
For you, I will do it.
A little maple.
Can you do, maple infusion with it?
We have a lot of things. We have many things coming.
All right, he's giving Roland the finger, so I'm guessing you hit on something, Roland. Not a bad idea, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's give a plug out. Is this being sold online, or is it just regional right now?
I can't do it online at the moment. I have to get the pH levels perfect and the bottling, so botulism doesn't.
It's not a hot tub. What are the pH levels for?
Trust me, I thought the same thing. The health department is so harsh in New Jersey.
So you're getting FDA approval?
Yeah, I have to get all this.
Is it not FDA? What's the food? Is it FDA that regulates food too?
USDA?
Yeah. USDA, sorry.
Yeah, so I have to get to them, and so for now, like I said, I just sell it, at the flea markets and everything. I just trust me. I get emails at my website on UncleJohnsCountryGravy.com.
Right.
And people ask me all the time, when can I get it? And I hear so much about it. And it's already spread to the West, from people emailing me and calling me, So I just have to get it done, and when it's done, I'm telling you, it's going to blow up. It's literally going to be the next ketchup.
Give out the information so people can at least check it out. I'm sorry for the rest of the country and Canada that can't get this at the moment, but just like when you try to find nice craft beers, there are ways.
Craft gravy.
There you go. Craft gravy.
You need to start craft gravy.
All right.
It's UncleJohnsCountryGravy.com. Facebook is Uncle John's Gravy for Twitter, for Instagram, everything. Just Uncle John's Gravy.
Okay.
So,
And if you are local, where could you get it? Let's say tomorrow. I'm just saying.
I'll give you my number. I'll meet up.
Matt is local. Matt
got a guy.
Very local.
I feel like a drug dealer. People call me up like 2 in the morning. I need gravy.
Listen, can you meet me? Can you meet me in a rest stop on the Parkway
I'll
somewhere?
have money in a brown bag.
You guys are laughing, but I tell you what, I've seen Matt really work his ass off.
Literally.
For this gravy to happen.
No, look, we're joking, but it really is good.
No, he's not joking. He will meet you at the rest stop.
But
behind the door, whatever you want.
We do have local listeners, and obviously there are people here that are local. I mean, are you someplace every weekend that people can meet you? Like
it's the Neshannock
flea market.
Neshannock Flea Market.
Where's that at?
Neshannock Station,
in New Jersey. It's central New Jersey.
Central Jersey.
And
okay.
we'll be selling there every time. And like I said, we have three or four restaurants and 3 diners that we're in talks with right now.
Nice.
So once that happens, I'm gonna on the website. I'm gonna put it up. I'll tell all you guys. And I'll send it out because everyone just keeps asking, and it's. Yeah.
You know what you need to do? You need to get a food truck. And then do it outside of like the cons, like Chiller Theater and Comic-Con and all those other. What's the monster one down in Cherry Hill? Monsterpalooza, things like that.
Actually, my friend who he's an editor at HBO, he's actually going to be funding. Possibly, we're going to be talking business a truck for me. He does a lot of my projects for filming and whatnot. So he has for me, and he's a good friend of mine, Chris Pacone, and he's probably going to get a. Nice
all right, I'll just keep quiet because I have no advice for this guy. He's on top of it. He's way on point and ahead of where my mind's going with this. So good for you,
right,
Matt.
Eric's like, this would be good on biscuits.
Maybe white.
Call it country gravy.
Yeah.
How about decorative colors? Just throw a little food dye in there for the holidays, red and green.
Named after my ex.
Actually, for the
Country
Halloween
gravy.
party,
that was just another big F you dumb rube. Don't try to talk to me about biscuits and gravy. I got it covered. I'm just going to sit down.
We got red dye to infuse it, so when you bite it, just red gravy.
Now we're talking.
All right.
Hey, relax over there. Put your feet up.
I don't need to be part of this show anymore. I know when I'm beat.
Yeah,
You should
next
put that
topic.
straw right in here.
All
I'm going to go back for more in a minute.
This is so good. Thank you so much. Anything else that you want to throw out there before we go?
No, honestly, I just want to say thank you so much, and I respect you guys, honestly, so much. I'm so happy, again, you both have radio shows, because every night I listen to your guys' shows, so.
Thank you.
All the repeats.
Well, we're only on Friday,
well,
but,
I mean,
if you want to pretend that we're on the other 4 nights, please do.
Get sock puppets.
And maybe tweet at Opie Radio while you're at it. see what can go with that. All right, so check out the Country Gravy. It's look, Roland loves it, right?
I do. It's delicious.
All right,
awesome.
Maybe somewhere down the line this could work into some kind of tasting on the food court.
White envelope first.
White envelope.
Do you mind if I give a quick plug for a movie I did?
I actually do, yes, but that's no kidding.
No, it's a movie called The Lake on Clinton Road. I had a lead in. It's a horror, and it's in Redbox right now, and it's actually like killing more than Kevin Hart's movies. So, haha, Kevin Hart. But yeah, we're killing it.
I think
right
Kevin
now.
Hart's doing okay.
I know. Yeah. I know, but yeah. So no, it was my first movie, feature, role. So I just figured I'd just throw it out there.
Okay,
so
no problem. Thank you so much. Throw out the website one more time, and then we're going to take a break, and then we have Sean Astin next.
Yeah, it's UncleJohnCountryGravy.com.
Roland's chanting Rudy over your plug.
UncleJohnCountryGravy.com, yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Come back anytime you want. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Sean Astin. Stay there.
It's Erik Nagel. Eric and Matt will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show right now Mr. Sean Astin. You know him as a movie star, a television star, but before we get into why you're really here, I got to talk about something that was all over the news.
Okay.
And that was you doing the Ironman triathlon.
Yeah.
One, congratulations. You're more manlier than I could ever be.
Oh, don't say that. You don't know that.
No, you did it, and I will never do that, so I can say that. But I do have to ask you, can you tell me the details? What were the events, and what went through your mind to actually go and do this?
Well, I've been running marathons. I've run 10 full marathons, and this year's been very interesting. I was invited to do the Boston Marathon by the race director, Dave McGillivray, and then he actually talked to the Ironman company because he did it last year, the Kona in Hawaii. The championship is they have them all over the world, but the one that's in Hawaii is the championship. And they invited me. They sent me an email saying, "How would you like to be an ambassador for Ironman? And we'll give $25,000 to your charity and like that." And I went into my wife and kids and just said, "You guys, look at this email." And they sort of rolled their eyes.
Did they think it was fake?
Ha! No, they didn't think it was fake, but they're just like, it's another thing that Dad wants to do. He's always like, I'm doing Chicago Marathon. I'm doing the Marine Corps Marathon. I'm doing, so they just see me doing all this stuff, and it's a commitment for them too, because when I'm training, I'm missing out on certain things with the family, and that kind of sucks. So, but anyhow, they got behind the idea. I talked them into it, and so I spent about 4.5 months training and went to Hawaii last week on Monday and had an amazing, it's like Super Bowl week. It was every day was a build up. There were interviews, there was training, there was going out in the water, and then Saturday, which is just 4 days ago now, I did the 2.4 mile swim. It's a 112 mile bike ride and a 26.2 mile swim or run. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I feel great. I feel like $1 million, except that I have blisters on my feet. And I never get blisters.
I was going to say, if you go to Sean Astin on his Instagram there, SEAN, for those who don't know, there's a photo of you sticking your foot right into the camera, and I'm guessing those are your daughters.
Those are my daughter. 2 of my
Everyone's
3 daughters,
looking in disgust as your foot is falling apart.
Yeah, my foot. There's blisters on the bottom. I never get blisters, but because it was so hot, it was very, very hot conditions, very windy conditions. You're pouring ice and water all over yourself for the whole run. So that water runs down and it gets into your socks and shoes. So you're basically running in wet shoes and socks for me, it was 6 hours. And when I took, and it hurt. Every step from mile 2 was very, very painful. And so that was my big accomplishment, was running through that pain. And then I took my shoes off and you're like, those blisters are going to take a while. So now walking through the airport yesterday and walking into the studio here, I'm like, my muscles feel fine. I could go and run today. But and my heart feels good and everything feels good, just blisters.
Right. What's the first event that they start you with? Is it the swimming?
Yeah, you start out treading water, waiting for the big cannon to go off. Bang, the cannon goes off, and you swim out for 1.2 miles.
Okay.
I don't know if you know exactly from, like when you're driving in a car, it probably doesn't seem like that much, but when you're swimming, you can't see the far cone, the buoy. Like you go from buoy to buoy to buoy, you can't see the far buoy, it's too far away. And there's a little boat at the turn, you can't see the boat. So you swim out there. It takes it takes the pros much, much less time, but it took me about 45 minutes to get out there. And then as you make the turn, all of a sudden the swells were picking up. So there's kind of white caps and it was pulling on you. So you'd swim a few pedals or a few strokes, and all of a sudden you go backwards, and then you swim a few. You just wanted to make sure you were hopefully, every 10 seconds you were making forward progress. Then you get back, get out, you go through transition 1, throw on your bike stuff, jump on the bike.
So you get out from swimming and you have to go right to the bike.
Yeah,
we got to run. Any kind of downtime? Like, do you have a couple? Minutes
I had a
yourself,
9-minute transition, which is very slow.
So you have to change in that 9 minutes?
There's bags all set up for you. So you run in, put some fresh water on you because you just got out of the salt water and you don't want to spend the next 10 hours in salt water.
Sticking, yeah.
So you just kind of wash yourself off. You go in, you grab your bag, you open it up, put on your bike shoes, your gloves, your helmet. You already have the clothes you're going to wear underneath your swim skin. So you pull your swim skin off, which is like a very, very thin, it looks like a wetsuit, but it's just a thing that you wear. So, and then you run out, you get your bike, which is waiting for you, jump on your bike, and you go for 56 miles. In that race, it's northwest to a place called Javi, and you turn around, come 56 miles back, and then you jump out. My transition was very, very slow. It was like,
so it's not even going one way and going into the next, to the next leg of the event. You're going there and back and then going to the next event.
Yeah. Different triathlons work differently, but this one is, the transition area is like, it's pocket. So you go out, you come back to it, then you go out, you come back to it, then you go out and come back to it again.
Jesus. Well, like I
awesome.
said, you're more manlier than I'll ever be, and I salute you on that, sir. But you said you've been doing marathons for a long time. Do you ever do the fun marathons like the ones at Disney?
I've done maybe 18 of the Disney ones.
So you've got a bunch of the big like gold and silver Ds hanging around?
I love the medals. I love them. Sometimes I race to the medals, meaning I'll this one that we just did, the Disneyland half marathon. Right. And they always do weekends. You can do the 5K on Friday, the 10K on Saturday, and the half marathon on Sunday. Or the one that in January this year, you do the 10K or the 5K on Thursday, then the 10K Friday, half marathon Saturday, and the full marathon Sunday.
Right.
So and then you get an extra medal if you do the half and the full, and you get an extra medal if you do all 4 of them. So by the time you get on the airplane, you got like you got a whole thing of all these cool medals.
My sister-in-law is really into Disney and actually started doing the marathons, I'll say at least 10 years ago, just because it's Disney and just to get those medals and everything you said, all the little achievements that you get for doing each kind of marathon.
I'm sure we've done a bunch together. I'm sure of it.
You might have. I don't know.
I meet a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, we ran the Dopey together. We ran the Rebel Challenge," because now they're doing Star Wars ones and stuff. But the cool thing about Disney is they've sort of figured out a formula. It's called Run Disney, is the organization that puts them on. They do. It's about healthy food choices, fitness. Because you go into the park and it's all great sugary, foods and that kind of stuff, but turkey legs and stuff. But now they're appealing to families to come out, do these events, and then go into the park and have a ball. So I speak at all their convention or the expos and stuff, and I do that. I've done the color runs and nighttime runs, and I just love the running community. I now have a charity that I run for that benefits after school running programs for elementary school kids and. In lower income areas. So yeah, it's my wife said to me the other day, it's my jam.
You literally are a guy that just doesn't like sitting around and waiting for the next project to pop up. If you're not working, you're doing these kind of things. So you're constantly not home, I guess. So your family must be really loving that.
Well, they hate it, and it's bad. And I have to make an effort. Like you have to choose to be together, and you have to choose when you're together to make that time when you are together real. But I guess for me, like the mental health component, like I get so amped up and I go left and go right and do a lot of stuff. When I'm running, I'm a lot more stable of an individual, a lot easier to be around actually for everybody, including my family and myself. Mm-hmm. But, I've been around for a long time making movies and stuff, and it's very easy to have the movies that you've done in the past become your identity. And in a way, it's fantastic to have a body of work that people can enjoy. Rudy, Goonies, Lord of the Rings. In Hawaii, people are all about 50 First Dates.
Right.
Like all those things. It's fantastic. But I'm not comfortable just having that be who I am. So when I'm setting these big goals and doing these events where it's immediate, it's current, it's impressive, it just makes me feel like I'm controlling my own identity a little bit more rather than having the past control it.
Based on what you just said there about not letting your past projects form your identity, how did you take it then? Because I know there were some parts of the triathlon where
people were just, it was the most of that. I've never, ever had that complete of kind of, feedback, auditory feedback. People would jump out and want to take pictures with you. But at a certain point, there is a cutoff. You have to, in order to be a quote unquote Iron Man and get the prize and have the guy say, Sean Astin, you are an Iron Man.
Yeah.
I realized that I would try and just give a little nod or a hand wave or something like that so people knew that I heard them and I appreciated them. But I need to, and one of the things I love about running is that once you start, everybody's got something in common. We're all moving from point A to point B. And so I was hoping towards the end of it, like I hope people didn't think that I didn't love what they were doing and what they were saying. But at a certain point it was painful. I was in pain, and I need to put my head down and just do my thing. So anyhow, I never mind the Rudy chant. I never mind any of that. But
that kind of crowd reaction that you got is something normally that's reserved for, like, if you went to Comic-Con or something like that, for that kind of, like you said, costumes turned out and everything.
Well, in that setting, it's usually reserved for people who actually win races. I'm like among the
but not
300
dressing up
slowest
as your past characters and chanting your past characters' names.
Well, comic book conventions now are ubiquitous.
Yeah, you didn't go to New York Comic Con this year.
No, because I was doing the other triathlon.
Yeah,
I actually Skyped in. I FaceTimed in the day before from the shoreside where I was looking at the turnaround for the swim in the triathlon, and they, Greg Sipes, who plays one of the Ninja Turtles, held up the phone and they put a video of it up, and people were like, "Wow!" So it was actually kind of fun.
Before the panel, I was talking to Seth Green and Hoon Lee. Is that his name?
Hoon Lee, who's on the King and I now, yeah.
Who plays Splinter on the Ninja Turtles. And Rob Paulson too. And I said, "So where's Sean at?" And Seth just kind of almost rolling his eyes, but leaning back, and he goes, "You don't even want to know what he's doing." And I'm like, "I kind of do. What is he doing?" And then he starts saying, he's doing the Iron Man. I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "No, I'm kidding." He goes, "No, I'm serious. He's doing the Iron Man. He's been prepping for this for a long time." And then they said, "God bless you for doing that," because they all admitted they couldn't do it either. But
they could if they wanted to. People are capable of so much more than they realize. That's what I learned about myself, is that there were things that I achieved that I really wouldn't have even dreamed to think about. Swimming out in the open water past the breakwater was really scary for me. But I wanted to do it, and so I did it.
Well, congratulations to you on that. And let's talk about why you're actually here for your new project, Woodlawn. For those who don't know, it's a period piece based on a true story back in the early to mid 70s in a racially tense area of Alabama. Birmingham, which is infamous for being, probably at one point the most segregated city in the United States.
It's like a flashpoint for civil rights drama. People look to Birmingham and Selma and those places as being, really, indicative of the worst kinds of that. So,
right. So, this movie is centered around football, with the Alabama coach inviting, University of Southern California to come and to play.
Bear Bryant, he invites SC. That's at the very, very beginning of the movie. Right. Sort of the tail end of that experience is a little tease at the beginning of the movie of what the ultimate mission of the movie is. What he goes up to one of the SC players, African American player, and says, what a gutsy game he played. And for an Alabama figure of nationwide importance to, first of all, go into the opposing team's locker room, that's not really something you do.
Right.
But to reach his hand out, essentially to an African American player, it was a signal. It was a signal to the South and to the world that it's time. There's something about the guts of these African American players and their talent that it's just way past time to stop the way they're thinking and to let this inevitable transition happen.
And having John Voight play Paul Bryant,
Bear Bryant,
Bear Bryant, sorry. Really, just from that intro alone, you're just watching this and you're like, this is intense. Like, it's making the point, even though the point was already made. But seeing it lay out in front of your eyes there, you're watching like, okay, this is going to be good.
Well, what you're seeing is he's at the elite college level. He's at Alabama.
Yeah.
And Alabama's vying for a national title.
They're rock stars.
They are.
You see them coming off their buses. There's crowds,
they're basically
like 10 people deep surrounding these buses as they arrive to wherever they're
like
playing.
Gladiators. They're Roman, they're just the figures who are, I guess you're right when you say the rock stars, but that's at the university level, the collegiate level. What's happening downstream in high schools and in elementary schools? And what you realize is that the desegregation process where they started, forcing black kids and white kids to go to school together, it was horrible.
Right. The governor stood in front of one of the schools and said, your kids are not coming into these white
segregation
schools.
Now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, and yet there was this, a groundswell against that. There was the federal government sort of forcing the schools to allow, with military presence to allow kids in there. But those stories are what we know from the news. There's a trillion other stories that happen on interpersonal levels and in individual schools.
Which this is what it focuses on. Woodlawn, is a high school in that area.
Right. But there's another important fact about American cultural life that was happening at that point that is really what is the purpose of the movie. And that is that there was an evangelical movement happening. It was really the first time that you would see people like Reverend Billy Graham having a service in the Cotton Bowl, and 50,000 people would show up to participate in it and everyone lighting a candle, and this idea of unity and so Christ's mission and story of peace and forgiveness and so
that tends to be left out a lot when you see it, like say on the History Channel and things like that, when they go back and show news scopes and stories of that time. It's just, one man versus another man, that kind of thing, but they really
think of Martin Luther King
they don't include
Jr.
the religious aspect to it.
You think of Martin Luther King Jr., you think of the crossing the bridge, you think of certain things where there was a flashpoint between violence and the law, and when you had, Reverend, Martin Luther King Jr., who gave, big speeches and big religious speeches, was speaking on moral grounds,
I think people forget sometimes too when seeing that even though as important as that was, that he was, that even though he's Reverend Martin Luther King, he was a reverend, a faith leader, and people always politicize it. Like it's more,
it's in a way, I think,
and keep that aspect out.
This is Sean talking and not the movie,
but
in a way, religion is politics.
Right.
Because people are sharing their worldview. I know we're supposed to say, religion and government are separate, that you keep church and state separate.
Yeah.
But in a sense, when you have people who are advocating for a political position and their background is really informing why they do it, with Martin Luther King Jr., he gave this huge speech in a church right before he was assassinated, where he essentially predicted almost his assassination. But a movie like this is like, what happened a few years later? The political record, the historical record, the cultural record, we kind of drop off for a little bit. But what happened was, and this is what's interesting about this movie, is these guys, the Irwin brothers, John and Andy Irwin, they wanted to tell their father's story. Their father was, before he was a state senator in Alabama, he was a talk show host, a radio show host, and before he was a radio show host, he was a chaplain. And he was deeply moved by what they called the Jesus freak movement, which was this time where this evangelical movement was happening, and Jesus was pictured on the cover of Time magazine in kind of a tie-dye look, and so he went uninvited to this one high school where there was all these problems happening because he felt called by God to just go there. This is a true story. And he basically said to the coach, like, I need to talk to your team. And the coach, no, you're not going to talk to my football team. But at a certain point, they were out of ammo. There were knife fights in the hallway. And finally he thought, I guess it can't hurt to give this religious guy, this chaplain a few minutes of my players to give them an inspirational talk. Well, the talk went on for 3 hours, this one particular meeting that he had with the ball players. And he stood up and basically said, have you lived with violence for so long in your lives that you think that's how it's supposed to be? Because it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually choose something different. You can make a decision right here, right now, not to live with hate in your heart. And for him, he was there to preach the gospel. He said, you can choose Jesus. Jesus is the way for you to, and he got them all, white and black, in that moment to stand up and with their faith, just agree to live for Christ. And it was a public school, so that caused a lot of drama because you're not allowed to do that kind of activity in a public school.
Right.
But but for whatever, feeling people have about religion, whether they are Christians or Jews or Muslims or whatever, just as a piece of, and you started this out, I appreciated it by saying it's a historical piece. It happened, and for these football players, and then for their community, and for their crosstown rivals where there was violence, they all came together with their faith, and it was a wonderful year. And it ended up in a really kind of fueling what was the greatness that was in them and that they had on the football field, free from all that violence. And they ended up having the most well-attended high school football game in the history of the state of Alabama, and in Birmingham. And it was like, if you build it, they will come from Field of Dreams. The cars, it took them hours to load everybody in. They had never taken that many, they didn't have that many tickets. And so the football players were like, can we go out and play? Can we go out and play? They're like, wait, the stadium is still filling up with people to see our game. So, and it was just, and they would pray together. So this is a movie that is, made by a couple of people with love for their father and for their community. And, it tells the story of the coach who has a conversion story, of the player, Tony Nathan, who became in real life one of the all-time NFL greats for the Dolphins, his story. It's a story about, Bear Bryant, using his influence to endorse not just a player, not just a school, but a whole way of being.
A movement.
Yeah, it really was. And it took a lot of guts for him to do that. And so anyway, so that's what the movie is. And it comes out Friday, and we're really proud. And I get to give these great religious speeches for any actor that, you look down on a page and you just don't know what you're going to see. And for me, I got to play Hank Irwin, this chaplain who, guileless, comes into the school, and, it's always, you always got to wonder when guys walk in and they, like Dan Aykroyd from Blues Brothers, I'm on a mission from God. And you're like, oh, brother, this guy's on a mission from God. But when you listen to what he says and you see the impact it has, you're like, okay, maybe that's not such a threatening thing. Maybe that's not such an aberrant thing for, even a secular world to appreciate a little bit.
I only have a few more minutes with you. Where does God and religion, if you want to talk about it, where does God and religion fall into your life now?
Well, I consider myself a person of faith. I've read the Bible cover to cover twice, but I am no expert on the gospel. I do not feel called to evangelize. I'm a little different from the movie in that, one of the things that Christians feel very strongly about, as all the big religions do, they believe that believe in that there's one way. The Bible says the way, right, the truth, and the light. And so there's a moment where we hold up the finger one. Well, I resist that because I want to be inclusive. And so when I think about my faith as a Christian, what I like about Christ's message is peace, forgiveness, love. There's a lot of stuff that comes down through the Bible that a lot of devout Christians would take literally that I just don't take on board. Just certain things, I'm happy to talk about them, but that's, so we don't go to church that often. Mm-hmm. We occasionally will find ourselves in church, but I feel very comfortable in church when I go to church. I feel very connected to people of all different faiths, and atheists. So I consider myself a humanist, peace-loving humanist, but I also, was baptized in the Lutheran church because my wife had our 3 daughters baptized in the church, even though she said she didn't have that faith, but then, she is. So we're all St. John's Lutheran Church in LaPorte, Indiana, as we're all 5 of us were baptized. So, there's that.
All right.
But I also, as an actor, I have no problem doing movies or playing parts that would stand in direct opposition to, Christian tenets, because my mission as an actor is to serve the story, the narrative that different filmmakers or different writers are telling. And I'm willing to use my acting instrument to help tell those stories too. So I've done 4 Christian films. I'm very proud of all of them. I like that Christian films, the quality of them is getting better. Just the production value is getting better, but the way the stories are being told are more, engaging. The characters are easier to follow. So I'm more than happy to keep making Christian films as long as Christian filmmakers want to hire me to be in them. So that's a big answer to a short question.
So check out Woodlawn. It's in theaters right now. If you're a fan of Sean Astin, you're going to love this movie. It's very intense. Like I said, it's a historical piece. It was a pivotal time for this country without people really knowing it. You know, that it was going to become that. Some bold moves were made during this time period that changed the course of history for that area.
Mostly like in the South. Like you think of the South as the place where this really happened, but where it was so prominent and so obvious. But what I would say is to your audience is that the movie is preachy, but in a really interesting way. And so I don't think even though the movie is sort of evangelizing people in the sense that it's trying to share, the filmmakers are trying to share their faith, their father's faith, the Christian faith with a broad audience, you know, that I don't think it's threatening. I actually think it's an invitation to sort of go like, oh, okay, that's how people feel about it. That's one application of that, of religion in that way, in that place. So I'm hoping that people will give it a shot because it's, as a football movie, it's shot in a really cool way. You like the football stuff. The directors worked for ESPN Films. So like the actual look of it is cool. The performances are cool. The moment of American history that's being depicted is really compelling. It's directly relevant to Ferguson and Baltimore and all these places where there's racial conflict still. It's nice to know that not only is there a historical kind of build up to this that we don't all know about, but there's also ways in which that communities have combated the violence. You know, there may be many ways. This is one way that it worked for some people, and it's worth looking at.
Sean Astin, I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I'll say growing up with you, not watching you.
You're younger than me.
I don't know, maybe. Growing up with you, and I've also been a big fan of both your parents and their work. Goonies 2, any information as we go out?
No new information except to say that I maintain it will get made some point, maybe in my lifetime. I'd be happy to be a part of it if they want me to be a part of it, and I love that people keep that fire burning because it just reaffirms to me that there is magic and adventure in everyone, and they want more of it when it feels really good.
Sean, thank you so much. Next time you're around, I would love to talk to you again.
Yeah, I love it. You're awesome, dude.
Take care.
That was one of my favorite covers by them.
You can kill it right there, Lewis, because then thing with Real Big Fish covers is then they start making weird noises and talking and then just keeps going. Yeah,
they go on for like days.
All right, song's over.
With their covers, with like every song.
Every single song. Big rock ending.
They do a couple other good covers. One I pitched you, but you weren't too keen on it, was they do Hungry Like the Wolf.
Hungry Like the Wolf.
They also do Lita Ford's Kiss Me Deadly.
Yep. Yes. That one's pretty good.
And then they put out a live cover album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not too long ago. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The cover of the album looks almost like Poison.
Okay.
Like Poison the band? Or like Poison, like the Skull and Crossbones, Jolly Roger looking thing.
Here it is. Fame, Fortune, and Fornication.
Oh, like, yeah, it looks like a hairband. Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Oh, yeah, yep.
And it's pretty much Real Big Fish is just Aaron and whoever else is left or wants to still be in it or circles in and out. That band has a lot of turnover.
Yeah, well,
they're like the Guar of ska bands. It's like, let's just get a new member and just throw him in there, give him a horn.
Well, they've been around for like a long enough time. I think they have the right to
at
throw
least
people in
like
out.
What, 20 years now?
At least 20 years.
Because Tragic Kingdom, the No Doubt one we were talking about earlier, like just turned 20, I think, and they were playing around the same time. So that's just oof. I feel old now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel fucking old.
I just tweeted out on It's Erik Nagel on Twitter. You should follow that account. We've got some stuff to give away. In my hand here, I have a signed copy of the new Blu-ray and digital DVD set for Back to the Future, the 30th anniversary edition. They updated the effects. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on there. The ride is on there from Universal, which doesn't exist anymore.
So have you seen it now that they redid the effects? Like, how does it look? Does it look okay?
I haven't watched it yet. I was saving it for this weekend just because it was so busy, and plus it was Back to the Future week.
Yeah,
pretty
everywhere.
much here in New York City. Well, everywhere, but in New York City had events, and I think LA had some events as well. But we have a copy here signed by Leah Thompson that we're going to give away. So if you want to call 866-969-1969, we'll figure out how to give not get rid of that, but give that to somebody who we feel deserves a copy of that. Yes, Back to the Future week was this week. Oh, before we get into that, the cover stuff. There's a new channel here at SiriusXM. Right now it's an internet-based channel, so you can stream it online, or I think you can even stream it through the app. It's a all-cover channel.
Nice.
Now, I've been very
That's
excited
right up
about
your
this
alley.
because I got approached by the person who programs this channel and said, hey, your name came up in a meeting that you collect cover songs and know a lot about cover songs. Would you like to, oh, there he is down there.
You want me to go grab him?
Yeah, go grab Johnny Maxwell if you could. I don't know where he just went.
What's he wearing? The plaid shirt?
No, he was wearing a beige shirt, very skinny. Go run by the bathroom and see if you can go grab him and have him come in there.
Just start screaming his name.
Just go, who's Johnny Maxwell? Tell him to come on the air with us. Thank you. This is not a way to do a radio show, but
professional radio, people.
Run and grab that guy, make him a guest. So they have this cover channel now that they just put out, and sometimes there's just not enough room on the broadcast spectrum to put everything on the satellite.
Sure.
So they test a lot of channels online, and sometimes when they semi-retire a channel, they'll move it to online off the satellite and give another channel a shot, like the Neil Diamond channel, which was on Sirius XM for a while. I loved it.
Sure you did.
I did. And it was pretty much... I think it was like a 30-day run on that thing. I know it was a very short run, but then they moved it to the internet so you could listen to it there, and they still have it. It's amazing. But now the cover channel that they have there just launched the other day, and because I've been so busy, I forgot about the launch. So I recognized that Giddles is going the wrong way. Look where he is. He's all the way down there.
I think he's just yelling out his name. That's all right.
If I see him in the hallway, I'm going to go run and yell out Johnny Maxwell and then have him come down here, because that's just how we do it. So it's a great channel. Check it out. So he came to me and said, hey, word is that your name was brought up in a meeting. That word is that you know a lot about covers. And so I said, yeah. So he's like, you want to help out with this channel? I said, absolutely. Do I get a programming credit? No. Okay. But of course I'd be happy to help out. And I gave them a bunch of suggestions and stuff. And I heard it, I was going to the bathroom. One of the coordinators on the floor there had it going. I said, wait, what version there was a cover of Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I never heard that version. Well, I'm like, what are you listening to? And he's like, oh, the cover channel. I was like, oh shit, I forgot it launched.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to check that out. That's my weekend, to check out the all cover channel here at Sirius XM.
Fantastic.
So let's move on. I guess no luck?
Nah, we'll
Nothing?
move on.
All right. So we'll go to Back to the Future stuff here. Now, there was a lot leading up to the fact that Wednesday was October 21st, 2015, the actual date that Marty showed up to the future.
So does this mean from this point forward we no longer have to have that horse shit that goes around Facebook every year?
He shows up in 2018. I don't know what version you were watching. Yeah, for years people kept getting the dates wrong and saying, no, this is
year, the wrong month.
They had the wrong everything with that constantly.
So now that we've hit it, and everybody knows that we've hit it, I think that means we can retire that now.
I feel like on Back to the Future
Hit it
Day,
and then quit it?
That's it.
All right.
on like Wednesday, I was just sitting there. I was like, you know what? In the morning, I was like, oh, this is cool. Everyone's like nostalgic about Back to the Future. By 5 o'clock, I was like, all right, the day is almost done. I'm almost to the finish line. I don't need another post about self-lacing shoes or about Jaws 3D or about all the things that it predicted right and all the things it predicted wrong. I'm done. I got it.
But did you get in a DeLorean?
Nope, I didn't. Did I get my stainless steel car with Mr. Fusion?
Was it Lyft that was doing the free DeLorean
I think
rides
they
or
were,
something
yeah.
like that all day long in the city that day?
They try that shit. They're always like, oh, we'll give you a DeLorean and a kitten.
But I don't want any of those things. I will admit though, watching since Eric's not paying attention, watching Michael J. Fox.
I realized I had Johnny's number. So
yeah, that helps. I don't know.
So watching Michael J. Fox put on the self-lacing shoes that I guess they're actually releasing next year. That was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool.
Did you see the Honest trailers for the Back to the Future trilogy?
Not, but I'm sure
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd have to say. I sent it to a couple of friends and like, I can't watch this. They're going to skewer Back to the Future. I'm like, no, but they do such a good job.
But they do a good job skewering Back to the Future.
Lots of yellow.
Look, you're still going to love it afterwards. If you love it now, you'll love it then.
This week on Opie and Jimmy, the Stangles brought the Back to the Future 9/11 conspiracy thing.
Oh, I heard about that too, yeah.
It's clever. I don't believe it, because how can you believe it? But it was clever. Compared to a lot of other shit that they put out there saying, this predicted 9/11, you're like, wow, that's a stretch. Like The Simpsons predicted 9/11 and all this stuff. The Back to the Future one, I'll say, was creative, the way they did it. And there were actual things.
To anything.
Right. But
it's a bunch of malarkey.
It is. But other things than that were happening this week.
Sure.
Like we said, Wednesday is the day in the movie when Marty comes to the future. So on that day, let's start with Pepsi Perfect. So last week we talked with the marketing department from Pepsi Perfect, saying that it was a big secret that they're going to reveal on social media where and when you can buy your own bottle of Pepsi Perfect.
Weren't they only given like a limited run, like 3,000 or something like that?
6,500.
6,500.
Is what she said to me in that interview. So I'm going to go based on that.
So I didn't get one either.
So I don't know what you're talking about. So so the day before they announced finally that it's going to be available at Walmart online and Amazon online. So you can't go to a Walmart store and pick it up. You have to buy it off their website. So about 10:30, watching TV, and I just happen to look down at Twitter, and I see something come up in my timeline that somebody got their bottle of Pepsi Perfect. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, maybe a promotional thing. He bought it. So I was like, how'd he buy it? So I checked the hashtag and everything, and I'm starting to see people getting really mad. Apparently, at Amazon, they released it 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time, the day before it was supposed to be released.
Oops.
They sold whatever the run that they had at that time.
Right.
Sold out. So people were like, holy crap, nobody did. What's going on? People are furious. Like, I went to bed reading the hashtags. People were just really pissed off. In the morning, I get up to get changed. I'm looking. People went to stores to pose with Coke products to tell Pepsi to go fuck off because they were that mad. I'm like, oh my God, people are really taking this that seriously, right?
I think also it just comes to show that, like, no dates are ever correct when it comes to Back to the Future. Like, the date this is going to go on sale. Nope, it's not the right date.
They knew that there was going to be a demand for this product. Why not just release, like, more of it? Isn't it kind of silly?
It's kind of silly.
It's
Do you think it's going to be worth like a ton of money in like 10 years? Somebody's going to be like, I got a Pepsi Perfect.
No, honestly, I don't. But so for that exact reason, right? It's not going to be worth a ton of money in 10 years or a year.
You should buy it because you want to have
That's
it.
what I mean.
Don't buy it to, like, that run, that first thing,
Yeah.
people bought it, and then immediately were flipping
They
it
were flipping it on eBay.
on eBay.
Yeah.
So, same thing with Comic-Con. If you got
Sure,
one at
of
Comic-Con,
course.
people were throwing it up there for
Of
like
course.
$200. That was about where it was going. It was around $200. When the Amazon thing happened, and everybody knew it was a fuck-up, $600, $800 for these bottles of Pepsi Perfect.
That's just stupid.
Now-
Aren't there more important things to worry about?
Now,
most likely.
the next morning, like I said, I get up, getting ready. I check the hashtag. People are pissed. They're tagging Coke in it and saying Pepsi fucked up and how pissed off, and they'll never buy their products again from Pepsi. And Pepsi, I guess, woke up 2 hours later and said, hey, that was unfortunate, but you know what? People are still going to be able to get their Pepsi Perfect a little later today. I think they were saying like 9 a.m. or something like that. So that time comes around, and I know Travis was doing it. I was doing it. We were refreshing our pages to see when it goes on. And there it was. Click, add to cart. Great. This person is no longer selling the bottle. Okay, refresh, find another thing. Oh, add to cart. Click. This person's no longer selling. So I'm doing it for like half an hour. And I'm like, this is not, I don't know what's going on here, right? The Walmart page never updated. I don't know when they sold theirs, but that thing never was in stock and never came on as far as my knowledge and the attention I was paying to it. Then I start seeing about 9:30, 10 o'clock, people even more fierce. Like when you start seeing a hashtag thread when it's just all caps.
Yeah.
That's the internet translation of people want
Yelling.
blood.
Right.
And they're screaming at Pepsi, boycott Pepsi, all this stuff. I'm like, relax. I understand. I'd be upset because this was supposed to be a huge ordeal for Pepsi, and it was handled very poorly. And the public and the fan base for Back to the Future are rightfully upset because so many people want this thing. There was a limited quantity, but it wasn't even fair for people to try to get the stuff because early releases, screw up, glitches, all this stuff. And then they post, oh, sorry, we're all out, and now everyone's just like, fuck you, Pepsi, I know where your distributor is,
Jesus.
I know, people are going nuts.
So here's the thing. The content of the bottle is not a problem to get. It's fucking Pepsi.
It's just to get a bottle that's shaped like that.
So it's the shape of the bottle and whatever other packaging. So why not do an on-demand order? Like if you want one, you go to Walmart or whatever, you order one, and in 6 months you'll have one. Because how The turnaround cannot be that hard in 2015.
Like there's some glass bottle. How do we make these shapes?
Yeah, like it can't be that hard to print as many of these as the market demands. You can hit the market demand. Everybody will be happy. Everybody that wants one will have one. Some people will have two, and then they can just move on with their lives.
Right. And the bottle that we got for doing the interview, I looked at everything, and Roland looked at it and goes, "Is it numbered?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. Let me see." So I'm looking at the bottle, I'm looking at the casing, I'm looking at the box coming. No. So Roland says, "Well, their press statement says they're putting out 6,500 bottles."
That doesn't mean that's the number, though.
No, that's not the point. He said they're putting out 6,500 bottles, and they're saying that's it. Roland says, well, if they're not numbered, what's to stop them from having more bottles than what they're really saying?
Of course.
Right? So they could still put more stuff out, but they're saying the promotion's done. So if they truly are done, it's not labeled, they could have just, if it was handled better, I'll say, and it kept selling out, they could keep saying, oh, we're putting a few more online. People aren't going to know the exact count, so they could have kept doing this and generating so much money. But because it was handled so poorly online, people are like, they're not even going to eBay. Even if it was online, they're like, fuck you, I'm not getting this. They took it so personally that this
it's like anytime you want something and you don't get it, you're upset. And if someone else gets it because of a mistake that you had no control over, look, I understand why people are upset. I don't think it's the most important thing in the world. Would I have liked one? Sure, from a nostalgic standpoint, it would be cool to have it on my shelf.
Because that morning I was trying to buy like as many, because he was one per person. I was trying to buy as many as I could to at least get you guys, some bottles there. And I kept hitting add cart, and it would say there, and then it would say, oh, sorry, this seller's not selling it anymore. I'm like, it just showed up.
Same problem I had trying to get Star Wars tickets.
Tell you, there's a factory, there's a warehouse rather somewhere that's like the end of Indiana Jones, just filled with those Pepsi bottles, and they're just waiting. And every time someone buys one, they're like, I just go get another one.
It's like perfect Pepsi and the Ark of the Covenant.
Because I bet it costs them more money to do a smaller run than it would cost them to do a bigger run.
Well, that's what I mean. Just do it on demand.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets one that wants one, and everybody's happy.
That's it.
All right, so there was Pepsi Perfects this year.
So there you go. There was Pepsi Perfects this year.
The week before, like we said, Thursday and Friday of last week at Radio City Music Hall, they had a screening of Back to the Future 1 with a orchestra doing the music score, which was amazing. And the people who won the tickets that we gave away were tweeting photos for their seats. Like they were maybe like 5-6 rows away from the orchestra, so you just clear everything, you see everything perfectly. So I'm glad it worked out and everyone had a good time. Then we also put out a link for Back to the Future 2, which was being screened at Lincoln Center.
Oh, wow.
And gave opportunities for listeners of this show to go and sign up online, and then got email confirmations to this little private screening that they were having there. Plus, it was a red carpet with for the press with Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Huey Lewis, and Bob Gale. So they got the press got to talk to them, and then they did a Q&A thing before the movie on stage. So the people at this little private thing got to see the stars and ask questions and things like that before the movie started. And the pictures and the thank yous I got from everybody for that. So I'm glad people love that as well. So that was also going on. Then we had Leah Thompson in that Wednesday to talk about this new 30th anniversary trilogy Blu-ray digital set for Back to the Future. They updated all the special effects. There's documentaries, there's outtakes, there's trailers for Jaws 19 and the hoverboard.
There's that new short that I really want to see too.
That's on here. You can also do Back to the Future the ride.
Yep.
Since it's no longer available at Universal Studios, you can do that. There's music videos, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know the actual retail price for it, but if you're a big Back to the Future fan, this is definitely worth the money alone. And this is really cool too. If you do the Ultraviolet, it has the codes for each movie.
Oh, nice.
That comes with it, so you can download it and take it with you, mobile streaming, what have you. So we have a copy signed by Leah Thompson we want to give away. What else was there with Back to the Future week? Oh, they showed up on Jimmy Kimmel. They were on the Today Show for a little bit, but the Jimmy Kimmel bit, I think, was the one that everybody was oohing and ahhing all over when the DeLorean showed up on stage and they got out and checking out real 2015 and not being impressed. So if you want to check that out, it's up on YouTube there for Back to the Future and Jimmy Kimmel. Was there anything else with Back to the Future?
I don't think so.
That covered everything?
That covered enough.
The hoverboard, you can buy the hoverboard.
The shoes,
the shoes are coming out.
Jaws 19.
Oh, yesterday, USA Today put out the newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
There was a wraparound cover on copies of USA Today it's the paper that Marty was holding in his hand, where it's showing that his son was arrested, and the Cubs swept the World Series, which apparently didn't happen because the Mets are now going to the World Series.
It's a fucking movie.
And, a lot of people are upset about that, too, me being one of them. And you can check all that stuff out. But you can buy that one off the USA Today website. I think it's only $5.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you didn't get a chance to find a paper or whatever, you can go online and still purchase it.
Print on demand.
What about the man who was killed by the falling litter? Did anyone ever care about him? He's on the cover. It's like a little card. It's like man killed by falling litter. No one
cared.
No one went back in time. It's like, let's just save this guy.
No.
Sad.
No one cared. Because you know why? He had a pit bull now. Let's figure out a way to give this thing away here. You got the call screen in front of you there?
I do.
Yeah, we do. It's
All
like
right,
20
Matt,
people.
who do you want to go talk to?
Let's go to
5.
You want to talk about 5?
Yeah.
I want to know what that's about.
All right, let's talk to Shane in Missouri. Shane, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much.
I'm a Back to the Future fan, don't get me wrong, hardcore. But I find it funny how such a big day was made about this date that I don't remember hearing anything about a certain little date that happened last year that we're not going to see again in our entire lifetime. Not entire, but not ours.
What date was that, sir?
December 13th, 2014.
Yep, we'll never seen that day again.
Sure, it's not 1985 now, but who knows what tomorrow brings?
We're not going to see the numbers of the date.
Explain the date for us, sir. What happened on that date?
12, 13, 14.
Oh.
Simple.
I thought this had to do with Back to the Future.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Send that guy Back to the Future.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, let's try to give this away here, and then we got to move on to a couple other things. I want Back to the Future, but we got to make this creative.
Just pick one at random.
How do I win? Who's the furthest? All right.
If I had a 10-sided die, I could roll it right now. We could figure this out.
Let's see. Do we want to go the furthest, or do we want to go for the line one where there's nothing going on whatsoever?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
You want to do that one?
Sure.
Okay, let's go to Montana and speak to Johnny. Johnny, how are you, sir?
Not too bad. How are you boys doing?
Doing all right. How are things in Montana?
Not bad.
It hasn't, snowed you into oblivion yet?
No, not yet. It's actually a pretty nice day.
All right. What's there to do in Montana?
Aside from just drink beer, we got actually a lot of microbreweries in the state, so that's cool.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
And a lot of other outdoorsy stuff. So that keeps a lot of people busy.
All right, it doesn't sound like much is happening in Montana, sir. So while you're drinking all those fancy craft beers, you can gloat to your friends as you now have a copy of the 30th anniversary trilogy of Back to the Future signed by Leah Thompson.
All right.
Okay?
Right on, boys.
I hope it brought some sunshine to your life there.
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
I really like that Vic Lee band you were playing earlier, the Pink Power Ranger one.
Vic Lee.
Vic Lee, yeah.
I thought he said Vic Lee.
That's what
I'm
thought
like,
he said,
who's Vic Lee? Oh, you like Vic Lee?
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, they're out of, I forgot where in Texas they're from, but you can look up and find their stuff online. They have two other songs that I'll recommend. One is called Bert and Ernie Sitting in a Tree. And it's just about them having, but it's about them having a gay relationship, which is interesting. And then there's also a song called Sally is White Trash.
Oh.
That song is amazing. So check that out.
Wow.
All right. Definitely will. I love finding out about new bands. Mind if I plug a band you guys may not have heard of?
I kind of do, but go ahead.
Well, they're on the same label with Fishbone, so that's why I thought it might be a little relevant at least. They're out of Detroit, and they're called Downtown Brown.
That's racist, sir. I can't put up with that here. We're a family-friendly show.
We are?
I was kidding, sir. What's your plug?
Please.
Downtown Brown in Detroit.
Yep. They mix like the best rock genres. You know, they got the metal, the punk, even some of that ska stuff. They're really across the board. And there's a song called Orange Bitch, and it's fucking hilarious. They're funny.
Okay, send me a copy of the song and we'll play it. All right.
All right, will do.
All right, take care, Johnny. Put you on hold, and Lewis will get your information. In a few minutes, we're going to speak to the lovely ladies of Project You Are Okay. Jenny and Sarah are here. They're in the back. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi. So we'll get to them in just a moment. If you want to listen, by the way, there's headphones right there, so you can hear everything that's going on. If you don't want to ruin your hair, that's fine.
I didn't want to ruin it. I can't hear anything through it. I can't hear anything.
Uh-oh, they're busticated.
Oh, Mars.
Lewis!
There's no knob there? Nothing?
It is, but it's not. I can't hear through it.
All right. Lewis will run in there and fix it because he's a gentleman.
Thank you.
All right. We did find Johnny Maxwell. Johnny, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. I haven't slept in months, but doing good.
It's all right. We were just talking about the cover channel.
Yeah.
That just launched here at SiriusXM.
Yeah.
Johnny was the guy who came to me and said, hey, I was told that you know things about covers.
Yeah.
Could you give me some submissions and stuff? And I kind of flooded him with a bunch of stuff.
All shit.
When did Thank you. When did the channel launch?
2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, launched then. It's a soft launch, still a work in progress. It helps to hear
Before
it actually.
the big red carpet party?
Of course.
Okay.
Well, I get Huey Lewis. He's going to come and hang out.
All right.
Apparently you can just hire him and he'll come to your red carpet.
Is Huey Lewis going to perform some kind of wonderful?
He won't do any covers. He's a stickler about covers.
But that was a huge cover hit for him.
Doesn't matter. He won't do it.
What a bastard.
He's been a dick recently.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's some news.
I know, right?
All right, you know what you do?
I like that.
Then
That
you
was good.
pull every cover of Power of Love.
Oh, it's done. It's gone.
Okay, gone.
Fuck 'em.
Until
Fuck this
Huey
guy.
Lewis learns his lesson.
It's different. It's much easier hearing it actually on air. It's different than I see it on a computer. Like the way we do stuff is we schedule it and you see the words, you see an artist. We don't really know how they sound back to back until you actually hear it on the air. The first day was rough. It was a very down tempo sort of thing because I also programmed the.
Yeah, I
coffee
don't think Rancid goes into Matthew's suite very well.
Right. So it's a work in because I program the coffee house as well. So my mind automatically goes to down tempo acoustic singer songwriters.
Right.
And then when I hear it on air, for the cover channel, I have freedom to do kind of whatever the fuck I want, which is kind of a cool thing. So
Do you get to say fuck on the Coffee House channel?
No, never. So
Okay.
this is
this is kind of freeing
This is
for you.
fucking liberating.
Okay.
I'm digging
I like
it.
how angry he's getting.
It is.
God damn.
You don't know what I go through.
Reminds me of a young Dennis Leary. He's like, angry.
I got a lot of pent up rage because I can't get it out in the coffee house. Be nice and gentle. But yeah, it's going cool. It's going really well. It's cool. I got stuff from today. I got stuff from the 60s and 50s. It's a blend of literally everything you could imagine. It's got ska,
That's
reggae,
awesome.
punk, hard rock. Matt Nathanson fucking in there sometimes. But
Matt Nathanson does an amazing cover of James's Laid. Do you know the song?
I have no idea.
You've never heard Laid by James?
I don't
90s
believe
hit?
so.
No.
Okay, well.
James? James who?
The band is called James.
Oh, I don't even know.
I have no idea.
don't know that one. I got some of the more popular
it's
ones.
off
But
the American Wedding soundtrack.
Of course it is. This is Eric. This is how obscure he is for these covers. It's like, it's off the soundtrack. Came out in 1983.
I distinctly remember what I was doing that day.
straight
It
to
was
DVD, but it hit.
Yeah.
a fall day, 32 degrees.
Now I'm going to find it.
I'll see. Now
Great.
we did it. Now we did it.
Now you're going to have to be tortured with it.
Another submission.
Now it's an internet-based channel, but you stream it through online. Does it go through the app as well?
I believe it does, and then if the ball keeps rolling and it goes well, I mean, we will hopefully move to satellite. That is the goal, and it's a fun thing. Like, there's not going to be a song you don't know on the channel, which is great. Like,
No, hold on. Don't advertise it that way. There's some stuff on there that people, I'm sure, won't know, but you'll enjoy listening to. So, like,
Yes.
oh my God! Case in point, I said when I was going to the bathroom, I was going down that way, and Jackson had the channel on, and I heard a new cover of Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't heard. I'm like, what are you listening to? And then he's like, oh, the cover channel on, and I forgot that it had launched. And I was like, that's the kind of thing, like, I didn't hear that before, and now I want to get a copy of it.
yeah, it's a cool band called Against the Current, which is an online band. They do mainly covers, and a lot of the bands that do covers mainly do, it's a dude in his basement. He's got a guitar. He looks like he's 14, and but these guys are they're
That's how
hard
Bieber
rockers.
started,
That is how Bieber started. These guys are not Bieber, the anti-Bieber. And they're great, they got a lot of cool covers and stuff like that. There's this a cappella group called Pentatonics who just released an album out, and they have some originals, but they started out doing cover versions, and I have a lot of them on the channel. They're great. So there's a lot of promising bands out there that are not
Pentatonics there for the hip hop fans.
Yeah.
And since we're not your everyday rap band, no. Digital Underground, anybody? No. All right.
I was with you.
Okay, thank you.
That's something that's hard to find. There's not a lot of hip hop that cover hip hop. I was looking for that. Apparently, that's not. It's a taboo thing to do in the hip
I feel
hop
like they
community.
sample it a lot.
They do samples. I can't get away with samples and remixes. I can't. If it's someone's voice, the original's voice in the new song, it's technically not a cover.
Gotcha.
And we can go into like diatribes about what is a cover, but
This is Matthew Nathanson, or however you say his last name. But this is this is his cover of "Laid" by the group James.
Oh, from that soundtrack.
Right here,
American
on Opie
Camp.
Radio.
Oh, this song. I know this song.
Oh, I know this song. Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't know the name of it.
I
or
didn't know the name
artist.
of it. Yeah.
All right, are you playing this?
No, but I
You
will.
should be.
It's good.
Wasn't this in like one of those American Pie movies?
Yes.
What the fuck just happened? Are we back to the Future? Was there? What is going on?
Welcome to Alternate 2015. Biff is running everything.
God damn it, Reggie Ray.
So what are some of your highlights, some of your favorites on this thing?
Some of my favorites. There's this guy named Ben Alonkel Soul who does. He has his own album, but he stuck a cover of Seven Nation Army on there, and he turned it so around. And I play it honestly. I usually have like a certain restrictions. I think I play it 5 times a day.
Right.
I love this song. It's fantastic.
You're not. Maybe you are, but are you featuring any of those pop goes punk or whatever those?
There are some in there
because they're always awful.
I cherry pick. I mean,
every time one of those comes out, I keep trying to think like this isn't a punk cover, and this isn't punk music the way that these people are doing it.
Well, it's meant to be mainstream. They're not going for the punk. They want it
But
to
don't
be
put
pop.
punk in the title.
Doesn't matter.
Pop
But,
goes
I mean,
punk. You
I
think,
have-
a pop band's doing a punk song, and it's garbage.
And they release one every 4 months, so it gets a little much. But I do cherry pick. I think I have 3 or 4 in there. I mean, there's punk goes 80s, punk goes pop, punk goes punk again. It's just punk doing punk.
Punk goes kids bop.
What about Typo Negative covering Summer Breeze?
I don't
Right, yeah.
That's a great cover.
Didn't they do a Beatles cover too?
I think they did.
Did they do Eleanor Rigby?
Ghost did a really good Here Comes the Sun Beatles cover. But I think
don't
they
know
did,
that one.
I think they did Eleanor Rigby too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Typo Negative has done a few covers. They're
Yeah.
pretty good.
Summer Breeze.
What about you, Matt? Anything?
I got nothing. You guys have lost me something along the line.
Wow.
We lost
Matt never taps
It
out.
was in the American Pie movie.
I'm gone. I'm out.
broke 'em.
I'm done.
All right, maybe you haven't heard this song, Matt.
Oh, this isn't that American Pie movie.
Right.
I think it's the country gravy is starting to settle in. There's a lot going on.
All right, well, check it out. Is it just called The Cover Channel?
Yeah, it's go. I mean, I gave them so many ideas for like cute punny names, and they all got shot down by legal. So it's just the covers
By
channel.
legal, not by creative.
No, legal. So
Wow, what was the reason?
They don't give me reasons. They type it out in 10-page things. I'm like, fuck
No,
this
but I
up.
mean, for them to say no, like...
Well, I mean, like I really like the idea of doing Cover Me, which is, I mean, it's a Bruce song, but I like that idea. Like Cover Me, that's really what it is. They were
Right.
going to do play, I think, Under the Covers, just like playful stuff, and too sexual.
How about just
whatever.
not our music?
Yeah. Copyright infringement. Sirius XM's copyright infringement is what I wanted to call it.
Look, dude.
I got a whole list of things
That's
I
a
didn't even
great
send them.
channel name. You could make some really awesome shirts.
Yeah.
Copyright infringement.
Copyright infringement by Sirius XM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hasn't
yeah.
happened
You can
before.
tell why me and legal don't really get along.
Okay.
Well, the covers channel works. It tells you what it is.
I will
And it's funny,
definitely...
I've had conversations about we have to have the imaging explain what the channel is. No, you fucking don't. The title does. It's the covers
It's
channel.
called the covers channel. It's
What
not really
is the cover channel?
You're not
What a
talking about
cover
quilts.
is when one band covers another band's song, and then they claim it as their own. It's called a cover.
This week on the covers
What
channel.
was that Orgy Blue
Down.
Monday or whatever that?
Oh,
Yeah.
the popular one. In the
Is that on the
early
channel?
2000s.
No, it's not.
What about
thank
Limp
God.
Bizkit's Behind Blue Eyes?
No
Okay,
Bizkit.
good.
No.
Anything by Stained?
No.
Okay, good. I know we're
I
friends
got
with
some
the guy.
shine. I got some shine down in there. I think they did. Was Simple Man or something?
I think so.
Maybe I knew that.
Yeah, got them.
Okay.
They got some, crazy ones.
Do you have
in
any
there.
Alien Ant Farm Smooth
I got
Criminal?
Smooth Criminal,
That was
I
on the
got
top
that.
of
You
my
have
list.
to. I mean, that's actually a really good cover. You
Yeah.
kind of have to have that in there.
Good. Well, you know what? I'm gonna listen
check
through
it out for
and then
sure. I'll
check it out.
Check it out online, SiriusXM. Also through the app, it's streaming there, and then hopefully maybe one day it would get put on the satellite channel.
Soon enough.
And I would like to help out with the channel. I know it's a one-man operation right now, but
I'd be happy to interview anytime.
All right.
For employment.
Please do.
Yes. You can reach me at Alt Maxwell for any feedback. I'd love to have
Are
it.
you
It'd be
still
great.
doing? Were you doing air shifts on Alt Nation?
I am.
too?
I'm on
You
in.
still on
I'm
there?
on in an hour and a half.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when you're done with us here, flip over to Alt Nation and
Sure.
check out Johnny Maxwell. Send him some love. Give out the Twitter again.
At Alt Maxwell.
Follow
Where
him.
we
He's a good follow. He's a good dude, and especially if you like covers and stuff like that, send him
Yeah.
some suggestions. They're always looking for stuff. And thank you so much, man.
Thanks for
I appreciate
having
it.
me, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Cool.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to speak to Sarah and Jenny the ladies from Project You Are Okay. We talked to them out in San Diego Comic-Con, and now they're here in the studios in New York, and we'll follow up on all the cool stuff that's going with them. And they're Doctor Who fans who's not watching the current season.
What? Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Someone's cringing. She's going to have to answer for that. All right, we're going to break. We'll be right back.
It's Erik Nagel. Eric, Matt. I think Giddle is in there, too. Anyway, the show will be right back.
You've been struck by a smooth criminal.
Welcome back to the show. It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number if you want to get in touch with us here on the program. Matt, Giddles, myself, and we welcome the ladies from Project You Are Okay. Sarah and Jenny, how are you ladies doing?
Great.
Doing good.
We're awesome.
Thank you. Welcome to, not to the show you've been on before at San Diego Comic-Con, but welcome to our studio here in New York.
Because we recorded that one in a hotel room. That was way less interesting.
that was interesting because I was waiting in the lobby, and then I saw you guys come in, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting, and all of a sudden I get a text, "We're here, where are you?" I'm like, "I'm here, where are you?" And then I recognized because Sarah was wearing these Katy Perry-ish kind of pants that had like candy and stuff all over it.
Well, we're like the two people with the brightest hair, so I think that's...
Collectively, we kind of glow.
But that day, you caught us in the middle. I think I had done 12 interviews already that day.
Okay.
We had, and so the way it works at San Diego is that you're not like set up in a press room all day and people are coming in and out. You have to, the press is basically set up in a variety of different buildings, and you have to travel around these buildings like all day. We were just
because the interviews are not done at the actual convention center.
There's no room left at the convention center to do it. Yeah.
So half the time we were just in our hotel. We did some on the roof of the hotel. It was like.
Yeah, I got up there, and it was you two and your publicist, right, Heidi?
Yeah.
And they said, could you just wait one moment? I said, okay. And they said, they just have to clean up. So they're just picking up clothes and everything, throwing them over there, and just throwing the cover over the bed. All right, we'll sit here. I'm like, okay, perfect.
We trashed that room. Not in like a fun rock star way. And we are exhausted. We tossed our clothes everywhere, and we just ordered guacamole and left it out.
But it was fun. I got to sit down and talk with them. I'm trying to remember. I was just dealing with the fact that my camera was stolen.
Oh, that's right.
Sarah, wait, did you find it? Someone
no,
found it.
all right, that's what happened. Thank you for bringing that up. So my camera, I just had done an interview with Ron Perlman, right, for Hand of God, his show on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I'm heading over to them, and then I realized I don't have my camera. So I'm freaking out because it had all the photos. It had my Doctor Who photos and Orphan Black and all this stuff, and I'm freaking out. And I come into their thing, and now I'm really kind of depressed. And that's not the way to start an interview when they're talking about how to help with depression and mental illness and all these other things.
Or is
yeah. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And so I'm sitting there doing this thing, and I'm explaining to them. And then in the middle of the interview, I get a text. The publicist from the interview before that, I spoke to director John Schnepp for his Superman movie documentary. And the publicist accidentally took it and put it in her bag. And she was already heading back to Los Angeles. Yeah. So she had a rep come the next day and bring it back down to San Diego, which thank you very much. But yeah, that was going through my head there. They're cleaning up everything. And I think in order to cleanse the palate, we started talking about Doctor Who.
And then and it was framed very, it was framed like it was aggressive when I listened back to the show. But I asked, he told me that Peter Capaldi had been holding the mic.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I grabbed
She started sniffing it.
Yeah, and I licked the mic, and then it was unusable. I just grabbed.
Things just got awkward.
Well, when I grabbed the mic
hot,
from him,
either one.
When I grabbed the mic from him, I guess it had somehow
it smelled very British and proper.
The cord had dislodged somehow or something, and the first half of the interview.
She got too excited because we started the thing, and then I told her about the mic. She yanks it. She's like, "Oh my God, I want that mic!" and takes the mic away from Sarah and pulled the cord out from the recorder end. So it still looks like we're doing everything. And I look down, and I go, "I'm not getting any audio." So I'm plugging it back in, and when we continued at some point, it's up on YouTube, youtube.com/It's Erik Nagel.
Okay, maybe it was exactly as fangirly as that.
But
we
yeah,
all have those moments. It happens.
We had a good time at San Diego. It was a lot of fun. Got to speak to you guys. So let's get into the heart of this
we
here.
just did New York too.
I know. And
you guys were at New York Comic Con?
Heidi said you guys were all over the place. So I said, she said, they're in New York. Would you rather have them come to the studio? I said, yeah, rather than trying to get it done at New York Comic Con, have you guys come up here and talk about all of this.
So much better, because the convention floor at New York Comic Con feels
Were you at
so
a
much
booth,
more.
or were you just walking around?
Well, honestly, I went to the press area and did some press on Saturday, and then Sunday I did the panel. And that day, I think I literally went onto the floor once because I had saw somebody with these Hannibal figures, and my boyfriend's really into Hannibal right now, so I went and got him
like
a
Funko
Hannibal
Pop kind of thing.
But I got him the pop figures. That was the only thing I did all day, and then I went right over and I sat outside where the panel was going to be. I'm like, I can't. It feels so much more crowded.
It
San Diego.
More crowded than San Diego.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, I managed to get through the floor pretty easily in San Diego, and that being the biggest con, of the year for outside of Celebration and stuff like that. But I mean, for a Comic Con, New York was next to impossible walking around.
New York beat San Diego again this year by I think 10,000.
160,000.
They said it was the biggest one in New York this year.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not just the amount of people, but San Diego, the entire city is the convention.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
And New York, it's just the Javits Center.
The Javits Center.
It was. You were very lucky to have.
Yeah, I missed it. I was at a wedding, and I was half filled with FOMO and being like, "Oh no, I'm missing it," and half being like, "Bye."
It doesn't smell at this wedding.
Oh, it smelled so bad.
I know.
I'm so spoiled because I have a booth and I can hide. I can go behind the curtain if I want to.
Yeah, it's nice because
really nice.
Matt had a booth that has one at every year at New York Comic Con. So that becomes sort of our hub, our home base, where we'll walk over and throw bags of stuff that we bought, and then I'll go run up and do interviews, come back, put the equipment bag there, and then go buy more stuff, put the stuff back there, take the equipment again, and that's Matt standing there all day by himself.
I'm spoiled by having that booth. I don't mind. It's a nice buffer from the people.
So you guys being at New York Comic Con, how were you presenting? Were you just doing interviews? Did you have a booth? Were you handing stuff out? What were you doing?
Well, I did a couple interviews, and then I did this panel on Sunday that was kind of a version of the panel we'd done in San Diego.
Okay.
So basically, the panel was at Comic-Con, at San Diego Comic-Con, it was specifically about comics. At New York Comic-Con, we expanded it, just sort of talking about mental health, representation, and pop culture.
Okay.
And it was a huge turnout. I was shocked. It was the last panel of the day on Sunday, and it was just packed. And we just sort of talked for very briefly. Everybody sort of just gave a sort of introduction, and then we just opened it up questions immediately.
All right. For everybody listening here, you have two countries now that are paying attention to this. Tell us what Project You Are Okay is and what it is that you guys are striving to do here.
Sarah, would you like to?
Sure.
This is I have this wrote, but we're both.
Project You Are Okay is a nonprofit organization that seeks to destigmatize mental illness for teens and young adults with online video content. So basically, we make videos with and for teenagers and young adults about mental illness. And so we have user videos from people all over the world. Actually, we've had we have a huge following in South America.
You don't have to hold that, by the way. We can hear you fine. Yeah, that's annoying.
Sorry. So we just are making videos that talk about mental illness, and we have a lot of testimonials from people who've been there, just sort of giving advice that they wish that they'd heard when they were a teenager.
Now, you've also had some celebrities doing testimonials for you guys that are up there. Who have you talked to?
Well, the one that was sort of our entree into the whole Comic-Con world was Will Wheaton. And he's been a huge advocate for us. Somebody sent me a video of him talking about us on stage at a show he was doing. I watch it every time I feel bad about myself. But yeah, his video was probably the one that's been the biggest, and I get a ton of emails from people every day saying Will Wheaton's video helped me figure out what was wrong with me, or helped me figure out like that I need help or helped me, open up to my like friends how I was feeling. Mara Wilson's video was also really popular. It got reposted a bunch. We also had Perez Hilton, and we have some more coming out soon.
Let me ask you about Perez Hilton, because there's a lot of controversy around him for what he used to do, what he's claiming he does now with the celebrity blogs and things like that. On Opie and Anthony, we used to follow Perez Hilton a lot, where he was taking photos and drawing things over the photo, and it's really detrimental to especially what you guys are doing now, because he was what they call fat shaming and all that. And then you have a picture of some Disney pop starlet, and he's drawing like a dick going in her mouth and cum and stuff like that.
Silliness,
he was always an asshole, and so for him to come around and do this, I guess if it's sincere, it's building in the right direction for him to redeem himself. I know he had a kid too, so that kind of changed some things.
Yeah.
But were you getting any kind of flack by having him involved with this?
We got a little bit of flack, but in the past couple of years, he's made some genuine efforts he stopped doing all the sort of like drawing on pictures. Like he's really sort of turned the bullying thing around.
Okay.
And I think probably having kids was a huge part of that. He also has been very forthcoming about having had all these struggles with his own insecurity and anxiety, and I think that those were things that were probably feeding that sort of behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's easier to be nice to other people when you're nice to yourself.
Okay. Well, he would. Yeah. He has a long way to go. I'm still going to say, because public perception, whether right or wrong, is judge, jury, and executioner as far as anything you want to do in this world now. And he's got a lot to overcome. And then when I saw it, I was like, what the hell? And I watched it, and I was like, okay, I get it. I see what he's doing. If it's sincere, then kudos to him on that stuff. But I just didn't know if that might have been kind of rough, almost like a black eye to what you guys were doing. But if you guys really believe that he's turning this thing around, then then that's great for you guys.
Yeah, it certainly didn't feel that way. We're sort of a platform, and I think that one of our things is that we want to hear from everybody, like from a wide breadth of experience, and he certainly has had some very interesting experiences.
Right. Sure.
Has a very interesting perspective on things, and I think that there is a lot of sincerity there. He had put out this, it came about because he had put out a video and a statement about his own anxiety and depression issues, and I think all we had to do was tweet at him, and he pretty much immediately sent a video. It was miraculous. Like nothing ever turns around that quickly in this world.
Who else has helped you out?
In Project You're Okay in general. We've gotten just super lucky. The comedy community has been really, really supportive of us. We've been, we've only been around since April, which is, when you think about it,
very
kind
short
of
run.
Insane. Yeah.
Very short.
And things are just expanding from there. I can't thank Mara Wilson enough for basically being one of our biggest early social media champions.
Right.
Her video helped immeasurably. And we've been we've been lucky also in that there have been a lot of organizations that have taken an interest in us and promoted us. People like Bring Change to Mind, National Institute of Mental Health have been, we live on social media, so pretty much anybody who takes the time to sort of read what we're posting, share it, help us reach their audience, we'll help them reach our audience.
Let me ask you about the concept here, where you're encouraging people to check out the videos that you're putting out, so that people don't feel like they're going through this alone, or maybe that's like they don't think anybody else has this condition or whatever they're going through. Obviously, in a normal setting outside of your guys' area, it would lead to bullying on YouTube comments, things like that. But you're encouraging people to make their videos, to submit that you guys post. I understand people get something out of talking about it and sharing with other people, but that's a huge step to take when it's facing the fact that you have this stuff and you might be open to scrutiny, not from you guys, but just by having it up online, that people can go back and you get that cyberbullying shit. So how do you reach people to say, look, this is a good idea, this will definitely help you if you talk about it and share it with us?
Well, I think you're totally right. I think it's a ridiculously brave thing for people to do. I am the founder and, for all intents, public face of the organization, and it can be very difficult for me to talk about as well. But I will say that we've taken every measure possible to ensure that if there is cyberbullying to be had, it won't be coming through our channels. That's why we encourage kids to upload their videos unlisted, and then we'll repost it, and then we will be 24/7 monitoring those comments.
Okay. So it's being heavily policed.
Everything's being really heavily policed. Yeah.
Okay.
I was at College Humor for a long time. I've been a woman on the internet for my entire career. There is nothing that has not been said about me, and I'm not about to let like a vulnerable kid who's opening themselves up for us go through that either. And we spoke a bit to the It Gets Better Project also about how they deal with that, because they've had to face that too. And we have a lot of ways that people can get involved if they do not feel like it would be safe for them to tell their story in that way. So, yeah.
You said you're, for all intents and purposes, you're the face of the company.
Yes.
You have stuff online there at the website, but can you tell people who are listening what it is that that you opened up to, what you've gone through, and what led you to start all of this?
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm totally sorry because okay. So I was first diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and depression when I was 10 years old, which is younger than people think happens. But by 10 years old, I was seriously suicidal, and was incredibly lucky and totally acknowledge the ridiculous amount of privilege I had, that I had a family that could recognize what was going on with me and could get me the help that I needed. And
were there factors leading to it, or was it just inside of you that you were doing it?
My entire life, I was just born with the chemistry of my brain was just a little bit off, and that's always been the way it's been. And I really, it's controversial, but medication helped me a lot, and therapy helped me a lot. I've been in therapy as long as I can remember. There was never like a incident that preceded it. It was just, this is the way I am. And then, I was diagnosed, with OCD in high school, and OCD was like incredibly, debilitating for me. And for a while there, I wasn't really going to school. I was going to therapy. Like, I was going to a bunch of different doctors, like 3 times a week, trying to figure out like what was going on. And it was a really bad period of my life. And somewhere in that period, I ended up going to exposure therapy for a fear of vomit. And it sounds ridiculous that this was something that was ruining my life. But when I tell you I wasn't eating, I couldn't leave bed, like, it was bad.
Vomit scared you that much that you couldn't get out of bed?
Yeah. And not just that. I mean, it was everything. I couldn't touch stuff. If you've seen the TV show Monk, that's about the best approximation of the way I was behaving at that time. Like, those were the kinds of symptoms I was experiencing. And Maria Bamford was actually the first person who vocalized what I then realized to be OCD, and that's when it started kind of clicked for me that there were other people out there who were dealing with this, and these weren't a bunch of disparate, weird symptoms. Like, there was something going on with me that was definable and treatable, and you can live with it, and you can go on to make awesome comedy with it. And so I went to exposure therapy for this phobia. This is a very long story. And I wrote about it for XO Jane over last summer. And the response I got was so overwhelming. And I was so scared to put it out there because I was like, people are going to make fun of me for this. Like, it sounds ridiculous. And instead, I got so many emails from people saying, me too. I thought I was the only one. I had no idea you'd been through this. Or they wanted to tell me about a similar experience they'd had, or an experience that was totally different. But they thought that I would be a person who could relate because I was somebody who'd been through struggles with mental illness. And it occurred to me that there still wasn't any sort of like peer-to-peer destigmatization resource out there, the way the It Gets Better project was for LGBT kids. And that sort of is how this came to pass.
be.
Yeah.
So you took, going through all of that, you took it upon yourself to kind of group with some people who've had other issues, that you all kind of formed this together and say, let's try to do something good with this.
Well, it sort of was very a gradual process of realizing what was shaping up, because what started as me thinking, okay, I'm going to make like a web series because that's what I know how to do. I'm going to make a web series. I was at the time 24-year-old comedian. There's only one thing I can do, which is make a web series. So I was going to talk to people who I knew had struggles with mental illness, or were like very close with somebody who was struggling with mental illness, and just sort of like talk to them about it in a way that would be sort of approachable and not scary. And then I realized, okay, like that's an awesome idea, but then what do you do with that? You're going to need some resources. You're going to need that to be some ongoing content. You're going to need to create a community around it so that they don't get cyberbullied. Okay, looks like I'm going to need to start an organization. I learned about how to start a nonprofit. I learned what a 501c3 was. Started putting those gears in motion. Set a shoot date for December, like 11th or 12th
and 12th
of last year.
Yeah.
And then I realized, well, I'm going to need to bring a production coordinator on board, since I am total shit at that. So Sarah Hartshorn was production coordinating for UCB video at that time. Happened to be one of my best friends. I asked if she'd come do it.
And then she did.
And then she did. And then I officially offered her a job like 2 months later. And then we started sort of collecting this ragtag gang of these amazing social media experts and publicists and directors, and we just brought on this woman, Dior Vargas, whose People of Color Mental Illness Photo Project was trending on Facebook 2 days ago. She's unbelievable, and I'm so glad I hired her before she got hired by like the White House. 'Cause they literally honored her a couple months ago.
She's amazing, and she also just got a really big award, which I can't remember now what it is. I can picture the trophy. It's very shiny and pretty, but it's like for doing work and promoting LGBT communities. She's amazing.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time here. We have the show after us is live from Los Angeles, so we kind of have a hard out, so we got to get them on. What I want everybody to do is go to Project U, the letter U, the letter R, OK.com.
.org.
.org, sorry, .org. Also follow it on Twitter. You can talk to Sarah and Jenny, and send up your own videos, see what's up there, check everything out. You might find some connection to something that you didn't know where else to go. They're not medical experts, mental health, as far as official, like, doctor kind of stuff. Sure. But they do have areas on their site that they can help you find the help that you think you might need.
And we do have mental health professionals on our board. So if anybody messages us and we're concerned about it, we'll run it up the ladder.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
We're all covered. We know what we're doing.
You guys are in New York. Would you like to come back maybe in about another week or two and continue this?
Hell
maybe
yeah.
you could watch Doctor Who and we could talk about that a little bit.
I would be so happy to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will
Because it's
do
work.
that.
Now I have to.
Yeah, exactly. It's an
my
assignment.
job.
Obligated.
All right, so check out Project U, the letter U, the letter R, OK.org, and on Twitter. And Sarah and Jenny, thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
come back,
man.
come back again in like in a week or 2 weeks, and let's continue with this
we will.
and delve a little bit deeper. We didn't get into Sarah's story yet, and a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on with you guys there. We do have to wrap up here. Matt, plugs.
Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram. And we talk about tattoos once in a while. My friend Caesar, who owns Victorian Ink in Elizabeth, has a sale going on next Friday. $30 tattoos all day on Friday.
Okay, there you go. Giddles?
I don't really have anything to plug. I got my Twitter and Instagram, Gittlebase. And then sometime in November, there's going to be a chili takedown. I will be cooking chili for, so I will keep you guys posted on that for all my chili fans.
All right, there you go. Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, eRock Radio on Twitter and Instagram for myself. YouTube.com/It's Erik Nagel for all the interviews. We try to get everything up there. I'm working on the New York Comic Con interviews. Those will be up. The Project URK stuff will be up going into next week, so we'll have all that stuff there for you. Next week, Halloween show. We got to figure out the concept of that and do some tricks and treats, give all that stuff away. I think that's about it. The show will be up on SiriusXM On Demand this weekend. Coming up next for Friday, Sam Roberts is live in Los Angeles, so stay tuned for that. If it's Saturday for the replay, Dr. Steve is coming on right after that for Weird Medicine. I think that's about it. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, be seeing you.
He's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along. We'll be back next time here.